Good afternoon and welcome to the Senior Synth stream, the replacement show for Ranzee. He's off today. I don't know why. Chris knows more about the weather down there, so maybe that's why.
It's pretty hot here. It's 38 degrees Celsius, which is a little over 104, I think, Fahrenheit. We've had a hot one today, so that may or may not be related. But yeah, hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he's just been occupied by something that's a bit more important that he has to attend to at the last minute.
Yeah, it could be football or something like that.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah. So, boom. Should we put should we invite other people to get in? I think we should.
Might as well.
So I'll put that in the chat. If anyone wants to join the stream, they are welcome. There. Have to find the chat. There. There it is. So just jump in and say hello, and if you have done anything special this week, let us hear. I'm totally unprepared as usual. I haven't prepared anything. I just heard this half an hour, 40 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But we're here, and we hope the chatters will have fun in the chat, and those who wants to will move on.
Yeah.
What have you done this week, Chris?
Ooh, what have I done this week? Well, the main thing I've been working on. Hang on, I'll just go off camera for a second. DIY kits for the GP82. It's the first one I've made. So that's pretty much what I've been doing most of the week, is getting that operation going and getting all the documentation done and publishing a document, and of course now I'm coming down to the point where I have to actually put it on a shop, which will be tomorrow, which will the DIY kits will go on sale, so that I can actually work out how to get the right pictures and then set the price and important stuff like that. Which you'll sometimes get to the last minute and you think you're there, and then you realise you just need another day. It's been a week like that for me. So mostly I've been doing that. I also finished my mini deck's head, which I don't know if I can give you. My mini deck's head, you can't really see it because of the way that. Hang on, maybe I can. No, okay. LCD screens don't show up well on camera. But yeah, this is my version of the mini deck set, which turned out rather nicely. It's a nice case.
Yeah, you have some good pictures. I could post them.
Yeah, if you want. I just put, as usual, all my pictures I tend to post on Discord, on Ranzee's Discord. So check it out if you want to see some behind-the-scenes work.
I'll try to find them.
But yeah, no, it's basically the mini deck's head it's got a see if I can remember, Raspberry Pi 3 A+. It's got the PCM DAC.
Why the A+?
Two reasons. One, because they're available from a local supplier, and the other was they're just a little bit smaller than the standard 3, which I was rather keen on. Before I'd even decided what case I was going to put it in. But it worked out rather well. I couldn't imagine the really big one, but you know, if you've got the big one, the big 3, you can make it just as well. You just need a slightly bigger case. I just went, as usual, went to town, found the most vintage case I can find in my collection of old cases. This case is so old that I couldn't find the screws for it, so I had to go out the shed and find some screws for it. But yeah, no, it's got a 3.5mm jack. It's got a USB port on the front, which allows you to do the MIDI on it, and it will support MIDI if I decide to put on the final bits of chips and things like that.
The MIDI, that's a purple board there.
No, that's actually the DAC, digital audio converter. They're very small. It's very cool. They're so cute. And I managed to fit it on, keep it all pretty compact, which was, yes, it does press. Sometimes it does press the buttons of what do you call it, perfectionism, when you manage to get something small enough to fit in a case. But it wasn't easy. But I got there in the end. Yeah. So on the underneath is where the SD card goes in.
Yeah, that was a hard thing, I understand.
Yeah, that was a hard thing because I thought, because the problem with the mini DexEd is that it's as I think Rand said, it's a boilerplate, but it's basically bare bones. So there's no Raspberry Pi operating system on, there's no BIOS, so you don't get all your standard Wi-Fi connectivity, which is a pity because the 3A Plus is a Wi-Fi capable device. And I was doing stuff with it via Wi-Fi before I put DexEd on, but now DexEd does away with all that, replaces the whole operating system. One day it'd be nice if they could add back the Wi-Fi in. That would be really cool, but who knows whether it'll happen. But in the meantime, little SD card goes in the back, which is very.
I've seen there's also a MT32 device for Raspberry Pi. So you could build that too.
There's a few bit of a run of emulation of old synths going on in the Raspberry Pi community, which is nice to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got into it a few months ago. I know.
It's
very fascinating.
It is quite cool. I didn't know much about Raspberry Pi World at all before I got into it. I've always very much been in the Arduino sort of space. Well, not even Arduino actually. On the stuff under the hood of Arduino is a technology called AVRs, originally by Atmel, which is now Microchip, I think. And that was where I got all my sort of experience on small microprocessors from. So I didn't really get into the Raspberry Pi thing when it first came out, but I had a lot of friends who were raving about it, so it was always in the back of my mind. But it sounds like it was, in the early days, it wasn't exactly a lot of fun trying to get everything going on a Raspberry Pi, but these days it's a lot nicer.
Yeah.
So much so that I was converted. So yeah, I've been having fun with them too. And the smaller one, the Raspberry Pi, I've got it there as well, not the Pico, what's it called, the small one? Oh, I forget. This is the Senior Synth stream because I'm forgetting things. But yeah, that one's the one that Ranzee and I are rather keen on turning into a Eurorack module. So that'll be in the future.
Yeah.
Who will get there first?
Yeah.
Me or Ranzee?
Yeah.
Anyone's guess.
I have to hear. Is my audio noisy? I can hear.
It's pretty good. It's a little bit hissy, but nothing outrageous from my perspective. We'll see what the chatties think.
Can you follow the chat? I'm not good at doing two things at the same time.
I've got the chat up. Yes,
okay.
As someone helped me there. Raspberry Pi Zero is the one I was talking about. Yep. Excellent work, guys.
I've taken a little of the top.
And
I don't know if it sounds better.
If you want, I can do the old roll call. We've got Asif Stripe, Matt Brown, Half God, Half Beast, Kosh Dukai, Tracker Jack's here. I think I've already said Matt Brown. Who else have we got? Oh, Wagyu's here, front and centre, as always. Homegrown, yeah. All the familiar names are here. Keith and Watford, g'day matey. Let's go back in the street, going back in the chat and see who it was. Pat Brady, I haven't heard him before. Man with a beard, excellent name. Always welcome here. James, well, I'm not sure if we've heard from James before, but hello. Anyone else? Oh, there's a guy called Jake's 3D. I don't know who he is. Mark M's here. Yeah. And that's as far back as my scroll goes. So I think that's everything we got so far. Now we're having some feedback on sound. Sounds all right. Henrik is a bit louder than me, so I might turn
Yeah,
myself
I think it's you who have to get up.
Yep.
Usually
How's that?
you are a bit overdriven, but not today.
Yes, I seem
a
to
bit
be
distorted.
seem to
I
be
think
doing
it's-
okay now.
Oh, that's too much.
Too much. Okay, so
Yeah,
I can hear
sounds
the
like an
distortion.
old
I can
amp.
see-
amp.
I can see my. How's that?
Um,
1, 2, 3.
Actually,
1, 2, 3,
actually, I
check.
liked it as it was before. I think it's in StreamYard you have to raise the volume, not the input to the
Right.
computer.
Now, that's a good question. If I only
Yeah.
knew how to drive StreamYard. So in the audio section, oh yes, I
Yeah.
can turn the mic. So I should turn the mic volume up like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Excellent. Done.
Yeah,
That should be good then.
yeah.
Let's
It's
see
a.
if it's
I couldn't hear much difference, but
No.
a little bit.
I'm
So-
talking now. Am I quieter than Henrik or am I louder than Henrik?
That's a good question. Let's hear what you say in the
Let's
chat.
see what comes through. Dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun. Someone says too much 4K.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't. Oh,
Okay, we'll turn down the 4K.
Okay, so I'm subtle. I'll have to remember to speak up.
Mhm.
Project. I shall project.
Yeah, but you should not raise the volume more than this on the mixer,
On the
because
mixer, yep.
then it distorts.
Gotcha.
So,
Yep.
I noticed
Yeah.
noticed that on the Ranzee's live stream last week. You
yeah,
were a bit
yeah.
distorted.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah.
I can see when I speak loudly, I can see my clip light just peak. So
Yeah.
got it. No worries. So
Yeah,
I shall
good.
turn that down. Turn that up. There you go.
We have invited a few more. They are not showing up yet. Hopefully they come soon. I just, yeah. You also do your beta testing of those modules for the sequencer. Well, I can't remember the number of it.
GP82 or the
Yeah,
182
that
sequencer?
module. Yeah.
Hmm.
Are you planning to make it work with what is it called, 962 sequencer or 60?
It does work with the 960.
Okay.
There's Rance did a video demonstrating that on his channel.
Oh, I haven't.
He's also
haven't had
done.
time to see
He's
it all.
also done. He's also done some other good videos on the 960 in general. Or is it the 962? No, it's the 960. The 962 is the sequential switch. That's right.
Yeah.
The 960 is the sequencer, which
Yeah.
I happen to have over here. I don't know if you can see.
Mm.
I'll put the light on it. and you can see. I just got mine. I've always wanted one, but not gotten around to actually getting one. So now I finally found one that was in stock and at the right price, which is always important.
Mm. Half and
Ooh.
half is asking for your Gumroad
Gumroad.
link.
What is Gumroad? Now this. Does that make me sound young or old? I've not heard of Gumroad before.
Just weird,
Yes.
I think.
So, can you tell me what Gumroad is, Henry?
Yes, it's a road made of gum.
Excellent deductive work.
Yeah. Well, it's a what do you call it? A society.
The social media side, or
Yeah.
okay.
I
So
don't
nothing
know.
to do with. I don't know.
I think
Anything
you
to
can
do
sell
with-
your things there.
Okay, right. Is it? So it's a bit like Gumtree. We have a thing over here called Gumtree,
Okay.
which it's a bit like Craigslist.
Yeah, we have money trees here.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, sorry, I don't have a Gumroad store.
No,
I guess if
but
it's a
but I
store.
think
I'll write it
what
down.
what
as a,
what what he wants to know is, do you have anything online?
well, yes. Well, I have my YouTube channel,
Yeah.
which is Makeshifter.
Straight.
At Makeshifter. That's pretty easy to remember on YouTube. And I have my. I can probably give you a link, can't I? So I could find my store. That would be
Yeah.
the obvious thing to find my Etsy store, which is where I'm doing all my sales from. So
Yeah.
I'll just get that for you now.
Yeah.
Oh yes, here's the link. Ooh, I've tried that link before.
I
Now,
put it
how
in
do
the
I send
private
this to you?
chat, then I'll post
Private
it.
chat. Okay,
Yeah.
private chat. Let's see if this works. I've not tried this link before. I think this would work.
Yeah, it works.
Sorry
Then I'll
about
copy it
turning.
and put it in
Every
the-
time I open a white website, this happens. My face goes white.
Oh,
I know. I'm supposed to install some kind of plug-in that makes everything dark, but I never could work that out. How to do that?
so now it's there. Makeshifter.com.
Should probably make sure it works.
Yeah.
Does it work? Oh yes, it works. Excellent.
Oh,
That's good.
then I must have done
Thank
something
you
wrong.
for the interest. Yes, so that's I'm also on Instagram. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I post a few behind the scenes things. So I'm also at Makeshifter on Instagram as well. The key is my freaky spelling of Makeshifter. It's a pretty odd spelling, but there you go. I'm
Yeah.
a pretty odd sort of bloke.
Have you any plans for something new this year?
Oh yes, there's at least one module which I announced last year, which is the triple envelope generator with spicy stuff in it. That's the one that's yet to be announced what it's going to do in terms of the spicy stuff. It's basically an analog triple attack release or attack gate decay gate that has digital component with it, which is as yet undefined, but plugs into the back of it. The idea being that you could buy just the module, and you get a very traditional in a fairly compact space, 6 HB. You get 3 attack release envelopes, or you can plug in these different option boards, which are yet to be determined, which will allow it to do interesting stuff. If you've kind of seen the way I sort of do stuff with the GP82 in terms of processing of digital signals and synchronization and clocking, that's the kind of thing that's probably you'd expect to see from me on the plug-in modules. Something like that, but yeah, just a bit left of field. Not what you'd expect. I'm trying to always do something a bit different. And I'm trying to think, yes, I'm thinking there might be a mixer module come out this year from me. Pretty simple, pretty small mixer module, but crammed full of the features that I like to have on my mixers. That one should be hopefully done by the end of the year. That'd be good. That'd be the plan. That's the ambition. That very much depends on whether I can fit it in the space. I managed to fit it in space using a lot of time and effort. Actually making a proper printed circuit board should make the whole thing a lot easier. So I've got fairly high hopes for that. Apart from that, I have notepads full of ideas. So there's a long chain of things coming. The thing I really want to get to, but it probably won't be this year, is I want to do some percussion-based modules, because percussion's kind of my interest, my special interest in terms of what sort of started me down this sort of journey, is I wanted to make certain percussion modules. I was an early adopter of the Volkbeats, but as everyone can attest to, it has some pretty awful snare in it and some missing stuff. which these days obviously you get pretty easily in a lot of analog drum machines that are available these days. But that led me on a journey to understand the circuits of the 808 and 909 and stuff like that, and led me down the path of doing something interesting with noise generators and claps. So there is a module which will be involving that, but I can't say any more. You will probably work it out though if you go to my Instagram page and look way back several years. You'll see probably what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. It's weird. No one else is joining. There must be people who were supposed to join Ranzee's show who's here. We have 31 viewers, and that's a good view count. So please join if you are in the chat and you want to be on.
Post the yep, you got it. Post the StreamYard link again. Post the StreamYard link again.
It is there. It's pinned to the top.
It is there.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Of course, it's pinned to the top.
Yeah.
Technology, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get on the show, David.
Yes. Yeah. There's room.
Yeah.
People don't want to bang on here me all night. God.
Yeah. I think Andy will join. Yeah, I'm just talking about him.
Hey.
He's joining here.
Hey.
Hi, Andy.
Fancy seeing you guys here.
Yeah.
Me too.
Cheers, mate.
How's it going?
It's
Not
going
bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
It's been hot here.
Really?
Yeah, over 104, so 39 degrees.
It's been wet here.
We had a thunderstorm of all things last night.
Yeah.
Full-on electrical thunderstorm.
Oh, I love those.
Like, but
Really do.
we're all
They're
sort of
amazing.
They are amazing. I did see a pretty awesome thunderbolt that I've never seen before in my life. I don't know if the astronomy people would know what it is, but it was basically like a traditional thunderbolt going across the sky, but it probably went down to the ground because that's the horizon.
You know, a lot of them originate from the ground up.
Yeah,
When
exactly.
you see photography, they actually,
Yeah, because it actually goes from the ground to the negative charge. But what happened is that it turned into a dotted line. Now I don't know if that's a thing.
That's
or if
probably
it's an
just,
optical illusion.
it's just your perception of it. It was too fast for
Probably, yeah.
Because we only get 60 hertz roughly with your eyes.
So
pick up.
you reckon persistence a vision trick?
That's where you get that flicker, the 60 hertz flicker.
Yeah.
We perceive that.
But it was probably when Ranzee's gear ran.
Well, that's what I wondered. It's like, oh.
Oh, did he have gear
He
failure?
We don't know. But,
we don't know. We're just speculating.
We're just speculating. But,
He probably just had some
fun.
family stuff. There's always family stuff going on with the kids and all that. So.
Yeah, it's probably football.
He's got
Exactly,
responsibilities and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, I love the thunderstorm. We had a freak one. It was 2020, I think it was, something like that, in the middle of August. And it was like really, really weird. I'm like, what's going on here? We're not supposed to get not only rain in August or clouds in August, but not cold weather, rain, and super crazy thunder, lightning. So I went out. It was like 2 in the morning. I went out with my camera and I took all kinds of footage and stuff. And then I ended up making a video. It's on my channel. Put some music on it, and it was awesome. I was doing some slow-mo stuff, and there he is, and some other stuff with it. And it was crazy because it just does not happen here, especially thunder, lightning. We don't have the right atmospheric conditions here for that. You need a certain, I forgot what they call the term. I used to study meteorology a little bit, but there's a certain term for the ability to create the environment for lightning and thunder. And I just totally forgot the name of it now. And we just don't have that here. When I was in Colorado growing up for many years, we had crazy thunder, lightning storms. But this part of California just doesn't get it.
Yeah. Welcome, Eddie.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's
It's a little muffled.
yeah.
You're having that issue again, I think.
Okay, let me reboot
That's
that.
better.
I'll be
Oh,
right
you got
back.
it.
It's good
You got
now. It's good now.
Haven't touched anything.
But a little lower. It's loud.
Okay, let me reboot that. I think the driver is effed up. Let me. Oh, bollocks. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I'm from Denmark. This is the language. We only speak in those terms, except for the Queen.
they say that the more you swear, the longer you live. So
Yeah. So we live very long in Denmark.
yeah.
So how's your week been, Andy?
It's been pretty good. Get ready for NAMM. Getting lots of those January things up. Having fun pulling out gear and doing random shit with all kinds of gadgets and stuff. Also, God, there was something else that came up recently. I was going to talk about it on Ranzee's thing, and my brain is fried right now. What was I going to talk about? Something to do with updating something. Oh yeah, I was just updating my A-frame with some patches I found on their one of their main websites. Actually, is kind of toast. It's got error 403, and so I contacted them, and they said they didn't respond yet, but they had a community where you could actually share patches, also discuss things, about the device. And the site's totally dead. And I'm like, God, I hope I didn't miss out on some patches people put up there, because it was the only community that was putting patches up. If you go on Gearspace and you go on Mod Wiggler, whatever it's called now, and you go on different things, they all talking about it, sharing videos and stuff, but nobody's posting any patches. So hopefully they get that figured out. That's the great thing about NAMM is I can go to the ATV booth and go, hey guys, your goddamn website's broken. You're not responding to emails. So that's another great thing about going to those shows,
Second time. Is this any better?
Oh, you're
Yeah.
low. Now you're low. Instead of high pitch from what we were talking before, now you're talking like this.
Yeah,
I've been
that
watching
sounds
the
good.
the
Now it
Muppets.
sounds good.
This is
I
great.
wanted. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. No.
You're down like half an octave.
I finally
You're
sound
very
like a
white all of a
boy.
sudden. Yeah.
I have a deep voice. I just didn't want to show it.
But it's your
right,
driver
so
doing that thing
previous-
again. Before, I was talking to Eddie before on
Yeah.
Facebook, and it was Munchkin Land.
Yeah.
He was like,
Don't tell anybody. That's the real one.
that's the,
I just engaged the filter.
you sure that's not a wacky driver? That's like for fun, cartoony sounds or something?
No, it's fine. So, first of all, please allow me to thank Henrik for hosting the show, to congratulate everybody in the chat and in the screen and wish them a very, very happy new year, and make all your projects true and real for this year. And also to the people in the chat and the people on screen, I want to thank everybody who gave me wonderful words of support through my struggles in the past, and they are the reason why I'm back on screen. Thank you very much, and you have no idea how much I appreciate it. Thank you, Mister.
No worries.
Yes. So that was Eddie, and now he will not say anything more on this stream. We'll
What are we
let him
talking
talk.
about? What are we talking about? Come on. I'm fresh.
Everything.
And all.
We're talking about annoying lights in the background and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry.
No, it's
Just
okay.
pay
It's
attention.
okay.
Oh,
You're
Chris,
muted.
you're mute.
Annoying lights. You mean like
Party.
lovely here.
Okay, let me do some texting. This is gonna get messy. I need to reply people in the chat. Everybody in the chat knows that I'm the worst typer in the world, and almost as bad as a reader. So if you don't flag me, I won't see it.
Don't worry, there's always somebody
excuse
worse.
if I don't
so.
type back. Trust no. Oh no. You know that when you learn typing, they give you words per minute. When I did my test, they give me words per year.
I'm not a great typist because I never took a typing class. So I should have.
Everybody in the chat, thank you very much, and excuse if I don't type back. I appreciate your wavings really much.
Oh, I remember when I was in school, we could get a typewriting license.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
but we
That's
could
the
also
degree,
get
kind
a
of
Permission to
sewing.
operate a typewriter.
You are now licensed.
Yeah, it was a license. Yeah.
Licensed to
But
kill.
it was more proof of now you can type. More for.
Did anybody got any?
Giving us some self. What is it called? Esteem.
Some self-esteem, yeah. A high self-esteem. Yeah. That's the whole point of school, is to remind you that you're not useless. There's tons of other useless people out there making millions. So
Who needs self-esteem? It's overrated. So.
But we could also get us a license for a sewing machine. What is it called when you
sewing?
Yeah, sewing. And that was
clothes.
embarrassing to have.
What? Oh. Okay. Now that's because you're not following the fashion world.
Yeah,
Somebody can charge you 70 grand for a skirt just because they sew it by hand. There's no shame on being able to sew by machine. Come on.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the 70s.
Same. Well, it wasn't 70 grand. It was more like a job, and a very good, well-paid job. But never dismiss tailors. God's sock. No. You can do tons of money with tailors. So
yeah, but in
let
the
me know,
school
because
time it wasn't that fun.
well, yeah, obviously kids are cruel, and they tease each other, and they are mean to each other. You're a girl.
Actually, there was a guy who was very mean to me, and everybody feared him. And once in one of those sewing or tailor classes, I crawled below the table, had a needle and a little hammer, and hammered it into his shoe. And it was a shoe of wood and leather, and the needle got stuck between the leather and the tree, and with his big toe in the middle.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had to go to the office and sit there for some time and talk to the inspector and stuff like that. But he never, the guy who got the needle in his toe, he was never after me after that.
He wouldn't dare. You got the tools.
Yeah, it worked. So
it worked.
Yeah.
So because I'm been in a bubble for months, what did Santa brought you guys?
Coal.
In my sock, there was a sock.
Never dismiss coal with this power as in electricity.
Well, if you have enough pressure, make it a diamond, but otherwise it's crap. So.
No, it's a heat source that you don't have to pay to anybody. Come on.
Yeah, but we don't like coal in this country. It's a dirty fuel. So.
It is dirty. It makes everything dark. So, Henrik, what about you? You got a sock with what inside?
I have a sock hanging so he can put gifts in there, and the gift was a sock.
It's very important to keep your feet warm and dry.
Yeah.
Socks something you hate to get as a kid, but as an adult you can appreciate it.
Oh yeah, if they're good ones, yeah. Chris, you're still mute, mate. Are you back? Nope.
You still, but it sounds good.
Oh come on, don't be mean.
Everybody knows I don't mean it.
No, we don't get any voice from you.
No.
Uh-oh.
No.
Reboot.
No.
Was it the thing you switched off before when the lights were? Yeah.
Oh, I heard a click.
Okay.
That's
So
the one.
there's this big red button down here that does something. I think it's called Phantom Power. I don't know what it does. It's a,
Yeah, those are
to do with
bitches.
condenser microphones. I don't know if
Condense.
that's condenser.
Tech, huh? Who knows about that shit? Who cares?
Yeah, don't give me a soldering iron. That's
How many births have you gone through with your wonderful modules now?
well, I have permanent. You know how guitarists get permanent calluses on their fingers?
Okay, I'm gonna say yes, but don't get me started on that subject. Okay, keep going.
It's the same for us,
Yeah, been there.
except that their calluses caused by burns. So, yes.
I have some of those because I had this bad habit that many people starting with soldering is you keep burning your nail because the nail doesn't feel the heat so much, so you keep using it to hold things and soldering them.
All right. Yeah.
But that is really risky. I've heard of people developing some kind of tumor out of that.
Well, then
So-
they could certainly get some pretty nasty sort of, infections in fingernails and stuff.
And toenails. So yeah, kids, the lessons is try to save a little money and buy a helping hand, which is a
and
couple
if
of clips that holds you up soldering.
With the
stuff.
magnifying glass too, those are cool.
Oh,
I
yeah.
also think
Oh yes.
something underestimated in doing soldering is the sense of smell. If
Oh,
you have a
yes.
good sense of smell.
That shouldn't
it
smell like
helps-
that, should it?
That's my flesh burning. Yeah.
Yes,
so bad,
exactly.
yeah.
It helps you in two ways in electronics. One, when you're soldering, you can tell when something shouldn't be being melted. And two, when you switch the power on, when something is generating heat where it shouldn't be.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So the keen sense of smell is very useful.
I did that once, and I plugged in something. It was one of those stupid Alesis AC power adapters when it should have been an AC power.
Oh, yeah.
And I could smell the rectifier getting really, really hot.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily I didn't kill it, but I almost killed the product doing that. So
Wait. So you plugged an AC supply into a DC device?
Yep. But it's only 9 volts, but still it's AC, so it's
Yeah. I get
Yeah,
you.
interestingly enough, I had a similar situation here just recently where I got the AC voltage adapter wrong for a product, and I thought it was a 12 when it was meant to be a 9. And I've blown up capacitors, but I've never actually been there to see them getting too hot to touch, and that's what happened.
With a capacitor.
Yeah, so and when I went back and worked out what I'd done and then measured voltages and done the maths,
Haven't you
I went,
ever blown?
ooh, that's twice the rating of the capacitor. No wonder it was getting hot. So, yeah.
You should try to blow it up. It has a very
smell. Oh,
special
Jesus.
smell.
It's the worst.
Yes, I've had the pleasure of exploding a tantalum capacitor right near my head once. You don't forget that in a hurry.
When I was
No, you
working
don't.
at a laser company, we had the massive capacitors like this big, you know.
Oh yeah,
They're like giant batteries, basically, and
with
one of
a
those
strap
popped
on them.
on a heat exchanger,
Strap.
and it just the whole lower floor of the building stunk for several days.
Yeah, but how long ago was that?
Oh, this is 90s.
Good. I think even from the 19th, and please, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong. The problem now is the same power handling of what you're saying is something that scares you, just the sight of it, of the sheer size. they put on a capacitor that is a tenth of the size.
Well, this
But
is
it's the same.
this is 480 power supply.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
as I mean, capacitors have evolved so far in the last 10, 15, 20 years that what it was bottle size big now
smaller, yeah.
is barely little Red Bull can size now, but the power handle is the same. So because they don't look that big, you're not as careful because it can be handling too much, could it? And then
Well, we had a guy there who not only was famous for blowing up computers when he wasn't part of IT, but also is famous for hurting himself touching the circuits and the laser. You know, it's the right-handed rule they call it. There's a couple versions of right-handed rule. One is in physics with the magnetic field with the force, right? And one is only touch things with one hand at a time. Do not complete a circuit to go across your heart.
Circuit,
well, that's one.
But he did across his fingers and fried his fingers. And dumbass.
That's a Danish inventor who invented that rule, H.C. Ørsted. H.C. Ørsted.
Keep your left in your pocket.
Yeah, keep your left in your pocket.
No, not keep your left, but the direction of the power
The field
of the current. Yeah.
Yeah, the current goes this way. The magnetic field goes around that way.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's physics
I go
crap.
90 degrees to each other.
And what do you do about that?
Well, that's how you know how the
Science.
an inverter, not inverter, a
Transformer?
Transformer?
transformer works, or what am I trying to say? You do in henries. You measure in henries.
Oh, yeah, inductor.
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 How inductors work, yeah.
I did buy something this week. I really thought it was crap, but it's actually okay.
Ooh.
X-ray specs.
No.
It's just magnifying.
They are
A bit
enhancing,
cooler than mine.
Yeah, magnifier.
Magnifying.
magnifying. Yeah, but the problem is it's not in this distance. It's in this distance. So-
I get it.
Yeah.
Can you work around those? Because when I try to use the ones that are just like a square, almost like a VR looking thing, I got that's the ones. Those are the puppies. I got so dizzy because first you need to know the area you're working on, but then you have to put him down and
you get
tell
distorted.
all
You
the
get
proportions.
sick. Some people get sick with that.
Yeah.
I
It's easy to
have
get
that
sick.
problem if I see a 3D movie. I can't see them.
If I stick in the magnifying areas, I'm fine. But the problem is, I could be something I need to solder here. I could be looking here, which is not that much far away. But with magnifying, it's like a desert away when you try to follow a track or
Yeah, you get
I
your
never
sense
got used to
3D
them.
step. Your 3D depth perception goes a bit wacky.
But
because
I
everything
didn't
goes
buy
out
them
of
for the
proportion.
magnifying thing. I bought them because I think they look cool.
Yeah, I was
You
going
did
to
the
say
high-tech.
they are
the hi-
kind of.
You did the high tech ones. They had in the movie Flash Gordon with the little electronics on
Yeah.
the side. Little
It's a bit cyberpunky. I dig it.
Now that I have
Lot
a
cooler
conversation
than
with
one.
Chris, and sorry to bore everybody to death, because power supplies for synthesizers or electronic devices of any kind, this DC-AC thing, I think once I was told that for particular devices that can hold it, certain AC voltages equal to certain DC voltages because of the wavelength.
RMS.
As in, the device will, even if you feed AC, the device only would read the peaks, kind of, and that is because that's the constant. It's so fast switching that for the device, it basically doesn't read the troughs, only reads the peaks, and is enough to power it almost safely. How wrong am I with that?
Wrong.
Totally.
It has to be
Yeah.
rectified if you want to use it on DC.
Otherwise it'll
but
discharge.
yes, there is a value called RMS, which is what is
Rubin
it?
squared.
Yeah.
Rhythmic square. Yeah, RMS.
Yeah, and it's the value. Yeah.
So peak to peak, voltage peak to peak.
Yeah. So that's what you're talking about, but it still needs to be rectified, because if you put minus to plus instead of plus to plus, then of course you burn the circuit if it's not designed for that. If it's designed for that, then it has a rectifier inside probably.
Of course, you have to get
That's the
pedantic
key.
when you talk about voltage, because it's voltage across, not voltage through. Because it's potential.
Potential.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. We're getting technical.
Cool. So I still
It depends
have
whether you
tons to
subscribe
learn.
to the. There's two different schools of thought on electricity theory as well.
Which ones? The let's blow it, let's push it on its lows.
No, I didn't learn the other one. Put it that way.
Okay. Why?
No, one is enough. One model or one theory is enough for me. Thanks.
Exactly.
Cool. The safe one.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, man with a beard.
What,
I hope so, me too.
what was the last thing you burned off?
Connectors, because lately I'm only soldering connectors. That's and boys and girls, for anybody who wants to try, connectors are the easiest thing to do on soldering or in electronics. But the cheaper the connector you buy, the more sensitive to heat will be.
Melty.
And some connectors, like for instance XLRs, you don't want them melty because the pin could just remove itself from the chassis, as in the male ones, because they're just held by a piece of plastic. And if you heat those too much, then you end up having either wiggly pins, or that will not make a good contact, or they will even retract all the way in if you try to plug them forcefully. So temperature sensitive stuff. So spend wisely your pennies into nice quality.
So I use
connectors.
those heatsink clips. What I use is cheap irons, because they draw some of
I've
the heat
never
off.
heard of those.
Yeah.
I've never heard of those.
Yeah. It works.
What I usually do is try to hold my connectors on my helping hand, which is a metal clip, and I assume from the pin out they do something like that. But it's still some. Let's put it this way: because I'm so tight on money, I've gone down, I think, to 27p TRS jack connectors with metal housing. So think about the quality of the guts of that thing. I had to do a speed soldering, otherwise the whole connector would melt and short. As in, bang, done. Longer than that, you get a mess. You're wasting the connector. So don't do that. Go for nice quality, 50p or £1 each connectors. Those should keep you safe.
Chris, what's the last thing you burned?
Last thing I burnt, as in a bad way burnt. Ooh. Well, I think I pretty much said it. It was that burning that capacitor, but I didn't really toast it fully. So, let me think. I must have done a diode. That's the last thing I probably did.
Okay, let's
reverse biased a diode.
let's rephrase it. What's the last thing you burned with a flash?
Oh, you mean spectacularly destroyed?
Yeah.
Ooh. I can't remember the last thing I did, but I can remember the most exciting thing I did. I did a mains power cable with a, what's it called? A tape dispenser, tape box. You know those.
Yes.
Yeah. I put one of the, I was using one of those on the floor at my work to hold down. This is going to sound pretty dumb when I say it now. To hold down electrical cable.
No, that's not dumb.
And then when I put, this got the little serrated blade on it. And when you angle that in, I was a little bit too close to the power cable. So close that there are not anymore, there are not all the serrations left on that box cutter thing anymore. So yeah, that was quite eventful, and in front of all my work colleagues. So,
Speaking
it's
of
great
work,
for you, kudos.
we had these cubicles at work where there's a metal frame, and then the receptacles come through the metal frame. And if you didn't adjust the frame properly, it could drop down sometimes. and these guys weren't careful, and metal frame was right over the receptacle, and as you plugged in, the metal of the prong would touch the metal frame of the cubicle,
Wow.
and they fried a couple circuits to.
Well,
Oops! You plug it in, and just yeah.
thank God. So, am I wrong when I assume that there in the States, most common plug sockets are 120 or 130 volts?
110, yeah, 110.
110. Good.
Well, 110,
Better.
120. It's in that range, but it's usually called 110. But
Yeah.
These were 3-prong, but
Mhm.
if you plug in a 2-prong thingy to a 3-prong, you're not getting grounded.
Oh no, definitely
So,
not. But sometimes it's even better you don't get some grounds. But
Yeah.
think about Olaf's, because what is your wall voltage, Chris, for
Ours here
Australia?
is 230, 240, which is the same as the UK.
Henrik?
240.
The world
It
is
used to be
240.
220, but
220.
after EU and a lot of rules there, it's 240.
Same for UK because of the EU. Oh, I don't know if EU moved all the other countries, because I remember Spain being 220, and when we jumped into the EU, it was coincidentally the same time I started training as an
Yeah,
electrician.
but it's not
We
that
jumped
different
240.
because it can vary. So we also had it before.
Oh yeah.
And it's not always 240.
Yeah,
so.
it's not an exact science. The voltage from the wall is never what it should be.
But did you guys ever
to the
work in a
point
place that had body hooks? Because we had labs with body hooks everywhere in case people got all the high voltage power supplies.
Body hooks, as
Yeah,
in
because your muscles lock up as you get electrocuted, and you literally have to pull somebody off without touching them. So you have an insulated pole, like a pool skimming pole,
Wait.
with a hook on the end of it, and you have to pull them off.
Oh, hello.
Hey,
Hello.
How's it going?
you have a body
All
hook?
right. You don't solder XLRs like that.
Uh-oh.
What? Okay, are we getting personal? Bring it on.
Oh, yeah.
Bring it on. What do you mean?
Now, if you've got cheap XLRs, and like you say, the casing can melt when you try to solder the pin.
Mm-hmm.
Just put the plug on it. It dissipates the heat.
I don't dare that, because the thing I want to plug it on is magnitudes more valuable than the connector itself, so I don't give a shit. I rather don't risk the thing I'm plugging in it. I'm a chicken there.
Well, you have the other end
spares.
of the cable. You plug that into it, so it's a loop. Yeah.
Okay,
The other plug still dissipates the heat for you, so the plastic doesn't melt.
cool.
That's
I'll think
how you get
about
around
it very fearfully. So the point I was trying to make is those body hooks. What type of what is exactly a body hook? Because you say that, and I'm thinking about those hooks you hang dead animals for
No,
slaughter.
it's like a when you have a pool brush to brush your pool, those long poles.
Yeah.
Imagine something
Yes.
maybe half as long that's insulated so you don't touch metal, and a
Oh.
big old hook on the end of it to pull somebody
Yes.
off of something. It's like the old
Oh, yeah.
vaudeville where you pull somebody off the stage,
Yes.
like a body hook. Yeah.
But to me, my next question is here. I mean, my experience in Spain with 220 to 240, and here with 240 alternate. Ken, is it 50 hertz here in UK or 60 hertz?
It's
50
between
in the
50 and
UK.
60. It's all over the place.
But
Yeah.
it's nominally is 50, right? Okay. Because it's alternate, what I was trained to know and react is that it would shake you out. It would spit you out.
No, because your muscles do this. You
But
you
because
can't
it's
let go.
alternate, it's doing
Not
this.
enough. No, it's not enough.
Well,
And I've talked to guys who've
times
actually seen like high voltage stuff, and you actually, because your resistance of your skin, you actually get a halo of electricity going over your skin with really
Good,
high
but you're
voltage
talking.
stuff.
So when you're talking high voltage, to me, it's either 10,000 or 400. That's high
Well, this
voltage.
is in the 400 range. These 480 stuff like that.
Okay,
power supplies
that's
and stuff.
different.
Yeah.
When you go down to, once again, my experience and my training, when you go down to 220, it would spit you out.
You could. I mean, people still die at 110.
As long as you don't fall.
If you get enough
but-
of it and you're clenching, you can't let go.
Yeah, but that's my point. Once
It happens
again,
all the time.
it's-
People die all the time
it's-
from it.
But it's usually because they're
You
so.
could die from your car's coil too.
Cars have coils.
Yeah, the coil that
Yeah,
makes you
ignition
able to
coil.
crank your engine. The battery's not enough power. You have to ramp it up to thousands
Oh,
of
I never
volts.
knew.
And I've actually firsthand on my first cars when I was in high school. It was a Chevy 73 Chevy Impala. It was like a lowrider special. I didn't lowride it, but all the guys wanted to buy it for me for a lowrider.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a fun old car. It was, 350 V8.
Wow.
Powerful engine. But the
Whoa.
great thing is I was replacing fuses in the fuse block.
Mhm.
I had those old metal tube fuses with the little. It wasn't the ones you plug in like that these days. It was the tube
Mhm.
style with the metal ends.
Mhm. Yep.
Tubes.
And here I am like, oh, I got to change the fuse. Something burned out. I used my pocket knife to do it, not thinking about the coil. And luckily it was a
Or the
wood
battery
handle
itself.
pocket knife because I would have been, it takes the shortest path, right?
Mhm.
So luckily my knife wasn't the shortest path, but the tip of the knife was. And I was talking about white light. Henrik was talking about flashes and stuff. My knife turned white hot at the tip. And I went, and I dropped the knife and I looked and the whole tip was burned off.
Yeah.
That's how much
Yeah.
power in your car when it's
Evaporated,
off.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
coil
but
is
that-
always
that-
doing its thing.
Yeah, but that's the amps, not the volts.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no,
But
there's no
it's
coil
just
for the
sitting there.
starter motor. There's no coil for the starter motor. Literally, the amps in the battery turns that fecker over.
That's what I
The
was.
coil is for the spark plugs.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right, spark plug.
I
Yeah.
used to
For the
I used to
ignition
make a
system.
matchbox transformator, which was there was foil on the sides. So when you opened it, you had your fingers on the foil. And then the primary and the secondary side of the transformer was turned. So instead of transforming down, it was transforming up, and then there was a 9-volt battery in it. So when you touched the foil and opened the matchbox, you got a shock, a big shock. It was high power, 9 volts,
High voltage. Not so much
multiplied a few times, many times.
But I mean, even though they
but
got
there
like
was no
100
current. There was no current, so it was not dangerous, but unless
No, it's
you
just
had
sort of
a
that yard.
heart
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Because in the States where you got 110 volt and you think, it's safer because it's 110 volt.
Nope.
But because it's 110 volt, you've got to have those bloody transformers up poles just outside the house. Because there's not enough juice to push the current around the city as well, But in saying that, so many of the synths in the 70s, 70s and early 80s that were US 110 volt weren't earthed. So when they go bang, if it goes bang to the case, you really knew about it. You find yourself on the other side of the
'Cause you
workshop
were
going,
around,
what the
yeah.
fuck happened? You don't know where you are, you know?
In the,
What's
in
like
the
the
same
the ground, yeah.
Yeah.
in the same line, I think I heard recently that Japan didn't got earthing on the mains power until very recently. Is that right? That could be one of the reasons why many of the vintage Japanese things came with the 2-prong wire, the ones that were detachable, obviously. Because why would they put an extra wire for something they didn't have in the factory neither? Even.
Yeah.
There's a funny thing about Tesla coils too, because they're such high voltage but not a lot of current. You can actually bridge the gap of the bolt and go across and shoot another thing, and your body dances across your skin and
Yeah,
not to some
that's
other
amazing.
object, and not killing you.
That's amazing. It's almost as scary as those videos I've watched recently about the people who maintain the high voltage lines. They need to go up in a suit
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
that basically bridges any potential leak of power around them so it doesn't go into
And
the
the bucket is
issues.
grounded, the car is grounded to the everything's grounded. So
Because they're handling 10,000 or 40,000.
yeah.
Has anyone been
don't
near
remember.
any of those high-powered lines? You
We had-
We live around them.
In my front
You
yard
did-
when I lived in
you
Colorado,
can
we had
hear it.
lines sizzling.
You can hear
so
the
loud.
air sizzling. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can
In
hear
fact,
it
that's
sizzling way before you get there, and you go, okay,
this is-
no, I'm out.
This is part of the reason. I mean, the jury's, not in on this yet, but there's some evidence around the world of high voltage and instances of cancer
Yeah.
in kids and stuff. I know
Yeah.
I'm spending a lot of time home
Dodgy area.
in that house,
Yeah.
and they were sending high voltage to parts of Nevada doing testing and stuff back then when we lived there, and we heard sizzling. I remember it sizzling all the time when I was a kid, and my mom got horrible leukemia from that, most likely because no one else got it. She was home all day, we weren't. So
Yeah.
Mm.
No, it's been illegal
Sorry
to
to
build
hear that.
houses under power lines here for,
Yeah.
God, I don't know, about 25, 30 years now, since they found out that there was a correlation between living under
Yeah, it's pretty
high
bad
voltage
stuff.
power lines.
makes
yeah.
sense. I mean, we're made of charged particles. It's got to do something, right? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Don't go to Spain there. We still live around the power lines, or under, or straight under the power line.
But to be honest with you, mate, if it's not the electricity gets you, it's going to be the food. Holy crap.
What do you mean?
Oh, the shit they put in food.
Oh yeah. Okay.
The E numbers, yeah.
Yeah, I was...
And that's only if you're lucky enough to be able to afford food, as in
Yeah.
real.
No, nobody can afford
processed.
food. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Because I had this conversation because I have I'm on the way of becoming diabetic. I'm getting this phone conversation with a GP, general practitioner. Yeah. But you need to go back on your diet because your last test was a little
Pre-diabetic.
high. Yeah, very high, and you need to avoid carbs. I said, dude, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm because I'm struggling with money. I'm actually living on carbs mostly because protein is
Yeah, carbs
real
are cheap.
protein.
Expensive.
But I'm talking 10-to-1 relationship where I live.
well, here
if I
I mean, we
want
used to
to-
have boxes of pasta in the store. 10 boxes of pasta for $10.
Yeah,
Buy a little
Exactly.
sauce, and you have meals for days. You know.
exactly. Or rice, or potatoes, or chips, or crisps, or anything. But I also live on tons of sugar, processed sugar, because it's cheaper for me to buy a pack of 5 candy bars. I love Snickers. 5 candy bars is cheaper than 2 pounds of fruit. It's freaking cheaper where I buy it, because I can't afford anything higher than little.
Well, I watched a seminar
If I
on
try
food
to buy-
additives, right? Was it night before last? Because I'm a sad shit. And basically, the guy was saying, he said that there's he said he got this diet drink, and in this country we have on the labelling you can have what they call green shields, and for all the green shields listed for various contents of any particular food or whatever, if it's green, it means it is actually 0%. There isn't any of it in. So this thing's got 4 green shields, and he said, so you look at that and you go, that's the bee's knees. That's really good. He said the problem is this diet energy drink actually will make you fat, because when you drink it, he said it's not about so much about the contents. He said, but there's this thing called caramel H150. He says it's not caramel. It's never been near a caramel factory or anything. It's a completely synthetic chemical. But what it is it's sweet. But it's sweet without being
Yeah.
sugar.
Sugar.
So
Without
what happens
calories.
is
Sweetener.
you drink it, your tongue tastes the sweetness. Your brain then makes a prediction. Oh, the stomach is
I'm
going to
gonna get
receive
sugar.
sugar.
Prepare the body.
All the hemoglobins and all the shit goes up.
Yeah.
Doesn't receive sugar. Go, maybe I didn't kick it up enough, so it kicks it up a bit more. So what ends up happening is you drink this, and then you feel incredibly hungry and go into the kitchen and have a cheese sandwich.
Yeah. I mean, all those things, NutraSweet, all those things,
And
aspartame, all that shit. It's just.
and it hit. I
bad
mean,
news.
another thing. I was talking with Dom's assistant. Oh God, I forgot her name. Worked with Dom for years, and she said, 100%. He used to drink these like fizzy drinks
Physics,
all the
okay.
time, gallons of it every single day. And she goes, if anything killed him, it was that.
No, sorry, I don't agree.
Oh,
It
mate.
did help. Don't get me wrong, it did help.
No,
but I don't think
no.
that
No,
killed
we're
him.
talking gallons of it a day.
It's not just that; it's also the other chemicals in there. Plus, he's eating
Yeah,
a lot.
exactly.
He's
Well,
drinking a lot of
exactly.
acid.
Yeah.
Because you have the citric acid, the carbolic acid. You have those drinks are just terrible for you in every way.
Yeah, it's really horrible stuff. Because he'd have these drinks that were like, you'd look at them and you go, what the hell is half the stuff in this?
Yeah.
You know, you have like you know, like you have a one of these energy bars, you know, like a Nutri-Grain thing, and it's got strawberry flavour, and you look on the back and it says 5% strawberry puree, and the rest of it is just chemicals.
Yeah. In organic chemistry, we made fake banana flavor.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I point out another one of those totally unintuitive things that modern society, and what it worries me is children abuse. I'm gonna say abuse. I started with my experience from Spain. In Spain, Nestle released a drink called Aquarius. It's a hydration, a fast hydration composition with mineral salts and sugar. It's meant to be a sports drink, right? Something you drink after sweating for a period to recuperate and rebalance your salt and your homeostatic liquid balance in your body. But it was designed to, and because I worked around sports people and on a sports event, what they do with that is they take one glass of that, so a cup, half a pint, take that, half of that as a quarter of a pint of Coca-Cola, like I think pure Coca-Cola for the boost and the sugar, and then go straight into water. Because the problem with those type of isotonic drinks, I think they call them, is that the first cup rebalances your homeostasis, your liquids, your intake, but it also gives you thirst, a very tiny amount of thirst.
Yeah.
And it's nice stating, let's just take it. It's the second cup. The second cup debalances your liquid because it gives so much salts into your system that you become thirstier.
And sugar and all kinds of other shit.
Yeah.
So.
Me, myself, on a very hot Spanish summer, I managed to drink, and I don't know why, because some drinks, when you try to swallow, they're resistant. I think tap water is very resistant because of the flavor, because of the mineral content. You don't really want to drink more than a cup and wait a little, then another cup. A whole liter and a half bottle of Aquarius in one go.
So like Gatorade, basically? Is that the same kind of thing?
But with so much sugars and colorants.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same principle. It's to replenish, to basically force feed water into your cells.
The problem is most
back,
people who drink
because
that
you're-
aren't performing like athletes, so they don't really need it.
Drinking
Exactly.
it
Or they haven't even sweat.
They drink
at
it for
all.
fun.
Exactly.
And it's like, no.
It's like James
And
Jones
that
saying
is-
in the
those
chat
ones are-
about the marmalade he said may contain fish on the back.
Let's
That's
not
where
get
we are
into
with
the-
food. This is where we are
Yeah.
with food now. It's like,
What-
let's
what
not get into the
DNA?
traces of bugs,
Yeah.
traces
What
of bugs
DNA?
inside chocolate.
Well, you saw the stuff I showed you at Costco the other day. I mean, all that weird whole crabs you can chew on and all kinds of
mate,
stuff.
Andy, when he was talking about burgers in the States, it was like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah, it's pink slime.
Yeah.
You
He
gather the
said
pink slime and make burgers out of it.
They did a fecal test on
Oh.
American burgers, and it was like
They have to allow,
about
because of slaughtering,
9%. like,
slaughtering process around the world, you have to allow a certain amount of feces in it because it's a dirty business.
Yeah, but they also found human traces as well.
Oh, sure.
Because what happens is that there was a guy
They
apparently.
don't wash their hands or whatever.
Oh no! This guy was cleaning the machine and fell in it. He goes, it costs more to turn the machine off than,
Well,
whatever, and it goes
That's
through.
the mob sausages, though. If you eat sausage, you eat mob informants. Yeah, so
yeah,
don't eat 'em.
exactly. Jesus Christ.
Okay. Here's my
You've got to
question.
get rid of the buddy somehow. You know?
Exactly.
Here's my question.
Okay.
That's where
No
Hoffa,
way- no
Hoffa
evidence.
became a sausage.
Yeah.
But let's get back to the subject. Kent, what was the last thing you burned with a flash?
With a what?
With a
With a
flash,
flash.
a spectacular burn or burst inside a circuit.
Oh, I see. That would be, let me see, memory mode yesterday.
It had to be the memory. Had
Does
it?
Yep.
that mean the memory mode gets forgotten now?
What memory mode?
You've forgotten the memory mode. Oh, of course.
But I'm not kidding you. You couldn't make it up. It went bang! Like, I mean, you little bastard! What you do that for, right? And I
Shit.
start to take the power supply out and go, okay, right. It's one of these regulators have gone again. I'm going to up the rating on them. It's, the ones that become in the memory modes are shit. Let's go right. I'm going to up these bastards. And I'm just starting to unsolder the first regulator, and the phone goes. And I pick up, hello, like that. You go, hello, it's Grant here. How's the memory mode going? Yeah, brilliant, mate. Should be ready by the end of next week. Bye.
Don't say. Don't tell
The
me.
Smoke
universe.
still in the way. Yeah. I hate synthesizers. I'm sorry. I absolutely detest them.
So they just underspec the part? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, memory mode power supply is so under. Well, it's the power supply out of the polymoog. Right? And the draw on the memory mode is more, even though it's less electronics, but it's more because there's more Curtis. The Curtis is very, very thirsty.
Very power hungry.
Yeah. This is why a lot of people would opt to go for, I don't know, 3046 or 3086 transistor array VCOs instead of Curtis. But SSMs, I think SSMs were even thirstier, which is why the Mark 1, Mark 2 P5s used to go, oh, why isn't the power supply working anymore? No lights, what's going on? And there'll be one SSM up the end going, hey, give it to me, give it all. And then I'm going to short out. And I'm going to screw your entire synth. Like that.
And would that thirst be about the heat efficiency of the chips?
Partly.
So the most inefficient heat-wise the chip is, the more power are drawing because they need to ramp up to keep the.
Well, they need to be
work.
warm because they use heat compensators to tune.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have like
Thermistors,
the thermistor on the top, and then when it gets up to a particular temperature, it's supposed to be in tune. You still have to calibrate the buggers. You go, well, why don't you just leave it and I'll just calibrate it anyway? You know, because oh, well, when it's cold, yeah, but when it's cold, it's out of tune, even with a thermistor on. It's you know.
Good. Moving on and talking about hard tuning of synths. Please enlighten me. What is the overhang behind you? Is that an 8 or a 4 voice?
It's an 8.
That's a full 8 voice, right?
But a real 8 voice.
A real 8 voice.
Yeah, as opposed to a 4 voice and then an expander for it.
Okay.
There's a difference.
That's the original.
But be
As it
bugged
was
if I
sold.
know. Yeah, exactly. But be
Question.
bugged if you can tell them apart.
The 4 top voices, do they fall down into the lower 4 voices?
No, it's a separate case.
They
No,
detach.
they're not going to make it ergonomic. Come on.
Or
Bloody hell.
convenient.
It's got to be as awkward as bleeding possible. Yeah. So it's a separate case, yeah.
Cool. I never
Yeah.
knew. Thank you.
So, and
Nice
probably
puppy.
one of the most useless programmers ever conceived by man.
What
you
does
can
it
only
actually memorize?
Slightly programmable.
Envelope generator settings.
And that's it.
And it'll also remember the different pitches on the VCOs. But it's
Really?
it's not
What octave?
it's not over the top. You know, it only will memorize certain controls on each SEM.
Okay.
But it
Thank you.
uses the same memory that they put in the Prophet 5 Rev 1. So when they go pop, you go, there's a doorstop. Yeah. Good night.
Just a very, very, very stupid, not even related. I will be texting you this weekend, so please check your messengers later.
Well, okay.
or on Sunday evening. Okay,
Mhm.
that's it. Next. Yeah, basically, I'm trying to lure Kent Spong into the dark side.
What, the other dark side? I've already gone into one dark side.
He's already gone into one dark side.
Yes.
Modular.
God
Look
help
at me. Look at me.
Mm.
You know what I am talking about.
It
Don't
still
you?
hurts me. It hurts me fingers.
No, it doesn't. And you're pushing too hard.
I'm
told
pushing
you.
too hard. I know. I've never heard that before. Oh yeah, yeah.
No woman ever.
No, that's not pushing hard enough, Ken.
No. I think it was a sheep. I'm not quite sure. I didn't look that
Sorry,
hard.
wrong
It was
show.
dark.
You had to use a boot
To New
trick. You
Zealand,
know about the
perhaps?
boots?
Yeah, it was probably boots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Default answer. There you go.
Yeah.
Wrong show. Moving on.
I'll tell you what, I love this Midas mixer. I call it a Midas mixer. Just so I feel better. Okay. It's a Behringer mixer, but it's a beautiful
Yeah.
mixer. I love this thing.
Okay, I got a question. Go figure.
No, you haven't. Go on.
No, I don't. How nice do you like those preamps from 1 to 10? Proportionate to all the things you've had experienced in the past.
Compared with what I've used in the past, I found them really nice. Very efficient.
Once again, 1 to 10. And to me, niceness means headroom, and when you push them, they don't crap themselves. As in, they don't distort like maniacs. 1 to 10? So, as good as the ones I have in the Midas preamps I have in my Behringer interface.
Yeah.
Are we
Yeah, it's
talking
an
X32?
X32. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely adore it.
Did you bought any expansions for the desk?
No.
I don't think you need them, but I'm just curious.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
So it's the standard X32 with 32 input, 16 out. It's mental. That mixer is mental. Although Thomann has them in $2,000, which is totally off my scale.
Yeah. Do you know what? Sadly, I cannot even remember
Don't go there. Don't go
what I
there.
paid for her.
We don't talk about the Fight Club.
Yeah, no, I can't remember how much it cost at all.
Don't really.
I love the phone charger. Oh, that was a nice touch.
Sorry, I thought you were kidding. Every single time you mention it on the post, I thought you were kidding. Does
No.
it actually have a phone charger?
Yeah, it's a phone charger on the front. You lay your iPhone on it and
you're
it'll charge
joking.
it.
Oh, okay.
One of those induction plates you rest your phone and it will.
Oh, hello, everybody. See over there?
Kind of.
Just on the end there's a like a rubber tray. See it on the end, next to right on the far end, and that's the phone charger.
What is it?
It's in the right place too.
iPhone charger. You just lay it on and it charges
Next to
your
the
phone.
key step.
One of the
Oh, I
production
thought it
chargers.
was for an
big step.
ashtray or beer holder or something you could mount on it.
Well, technically it is. In
Warms
here,
your beer too.
in here it is because I haven't got an iPhone. So
Warms your beer if you turn it up loud enough.
absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Now you're talking.
Cool. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Everybody talks very
Yeah, I love
high
it.
of that mixer.
Yeah. The only thing that was catching me out with it is, regardless of what the settings are, when I turn on the studio, it defaults to having the master slider off.
That's kind of good.
Yeah, it is kind of good, except when you start, you go on PSN and you go,
When you forget about
and Robbie's going, like,
So
dickhead,
not
you haven't turned your mixer. Oh, no, okay.
Not- So your
Yeah.
complaint is it's not really streaming compatible. Ooh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a
yeah.
harsh one for
yeah,
a
yeah.
big
I
mixer
thought
like
you-
that.
This ex-
Yeah.
this
But it's too
X32
like
shit. Yeah.
mixer. Yeah, it's not.
Can't imagine how anyone will want that now.
But the old mic, it works
Mhm.
lovely on it. I love it. Yeah, I really do like it. So I highly
I'm
recommend
still-
them.
I'm still trying to catch up with the last 23 hours of pub that I missed over the holidays. But did you got rid of the Scarlet interface?
No.
Have you gone pure 32? Because I think that would be the answer to all your
No, I've got the
problems.
Scarlet still as well.
Why? Don't answer.
Because
Don't answer.
I have two
It's a rhetoric
computers.
question.
I have two
Oh, okay.
computers, so I have I have lots of other jobs in here
Oh, okay.
other than doing music. You see, so that's when
Yeah.
she comes into her own.
Yeah. So, yeah, I get it totally.
Yeah.
Wise move. Very wise move.
Also, I want to one day nail this jam timbre thing down.
Jam Taba, yeah.
Talk to me. Talk to me. I'm up. I'm behind you. I'm supporting you. I want to help.
Yeah, being able to play in but also stream out with everybody else is sort of like, oh
You had a separate
God.
system.
Yeah, but now he has one. He has the Scarlet and the Behringer. It's a separate system.
Yeah.
Separate drivers, because I come from the PC world. Not so much for him because he's working on Mac now.
Yeah. But like I said on PSN yesterday, it's a lot of stuff that's collected that I don't use and don't need anymore. And could be better off in somebody else's hands, to be honest.
Hey, no one has
Okay.
that problem. What are you talking about?
Yes,
I know what you're
nobody
talking
has.
about. Yeah.
Well, you see, the thing is, I keep getting bollocked by Ty every time we talk to him on the phone. He says, "You've got too much gear. You don't need it." What?
From him, yeah.
Said the guy,
Exactly.
said the guy with 3 studios full
So
of.
there's a guy with a
Oh, yeah.
room that he
didn't
never goes
remember.
into. Full
But
of
he
stuff.
makes a good argument of going, "Look, I make money from owning
Yes.
this stuff." I mean, yeah,
Exactly.
there's that. Yeah, there is that. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, but everyone has hobbies and buys crap, so
Yeah, but there's so much of it here now, and it's a tiny little house. I mean, if I had a place as big as Ty's, I'd be laughing. But
Not really.
you know, this is a tiny little house. It really is.
Hi, Chris.
Really
How you doing, mate? Happy to
Righty-ho.
see you.
Hello, Fritback.
Hello. G'day,
Can I hear a
Chris.
good story? Quick story. Unrelated to
Sure, go
music,
for it.
but just nice.
Mm.
So there's 2 people in front of me at the Audi checkout. The person is trying desperately to remember her PIN number for the credit card to do
Oh my God.
processing. She gets more and more flustered and keeps getting it wrong. And we're waiting and waiting and waiting. And the lady in front of me walks up to the little thing and puts her card on it. Goes, bing, paid. Cheers. It's paid for her. She couldn't believe
Yeah.
it.
Oh, we've
Really
done
cool.
the same
There are
thing
some
for
cool
us.
people around in the world.
Some people's time is worth more than
yeah, it's
others.
also better than waiting. So
Yeah, but there might be a subtext to that. She goes, "If I don't pay for her shopping, I'm going to fucking kill her."
yeah.
So rather than go to prison for
It's
25
not a
years,
big
I'll
shop,
pay
though.
for her
It's proper-
shopping.
It's a proper proper trolley full of food.
Wow.
I know, yeah.
So we're
Excellent.
talking couple
Don't
hundred.
worry about it, it's all fine.
Mm.
Bugger, I wish
we
I was
talking-
there with my card. But
So what are we
yeah,
talking? Couple
Confidence.
hundred?
Yeah. Excuse me, miss. I can't remember my PIN number either.
Probably about 60, 70 quid. It's Aldi, so it's not that expensive in there.
Okay.
Really good, really good. But yeah, so yeah, there are decent people around.
Mm.
Bit like rocking horses, though.
Yeah.
With the poo that comes out of them.
Well, she was decent in that moment, but what happened, on the road or something like that? So.
Yeah. I should probably run over
Someone
5
else.
people on the way home.
Exactly. You got to balance it out,
I
right?
need to get home. Yeah, clunk, clunk, clunk.
Road rage. We'll all be there.
Good karma for the
Standing
day.
in the queue going, I must not kill again. I must not kill again.
Yeah,
I must not
calm
kill
down.
again.
I've made my penance at Aldi by paying for that food, so it's okay now.
Yeah.
I used to use a dice.
What? What?
What decided? Oh, I see. Yes. Shall I or shan't? If I roll 2 6s, you're gone.
What have I missed?
Ooh,
What's
the darkness.
been the conversation while I was shopping? What's been going on? Anything interesting?
Well, no, not really.
Okay. What
No,
is Ranzee poorly or something? Is that why he's not happening today?
No, he's not
Not
poorly.
sure.
He's just occupied with
Stuff
something
going
that
on,
needs
yeah.
to.
Oh,
He
family
needs
stuff.
to. Yeah, possibly. Well, could be technology. You don't know with Rance. He says the same. Swears the same way, whether it's family or technology.
Yeah. I just wish everybody in the family is fine. It's just
Yeah. Ditto.
nothing really
Ditto.
serious. Just
If anyone
dying.
needs help,
I'd like a new house.
call out.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Apart from that, yeah.
Apart from that.
So, Chris, any plans on
Hmm.
releasing your the Eurorack module in assembly kit format?
Why did I? You mean like this?
One of those, yes.
Yes.
Assembly required.
Assembly required. DIY kit. DIY. Why do I have trouble saying that? I haven't even drunk.
Because
anymore.
it makes no sense.
DIY kits go on sale tomorrow.
Just out of
Tomorrow.
interest, how much of a pain in the arse is it to set up the kit so you can send it out?
Come on, spit out.
Well, put it this way. I hope it gets quicker as I do it more often.
Wow.
Because that's what I've costed.
Do you
So,
also worry that,
yeah.
that there may be a lot of
Well-
people contacting you going, I think I soldered this in back to front.
I think
Can you help?
Rance said it best when he said, "I don't know what your upkeep is going to be on these kits." When we were talking about costing once, and it's always
Yeah.
been in the back of my mind going, "Yeah, well, I try and count 1 to 10 and try to." I've done a bit of work in support in my career, so I'm
Oh, yeah.
fairly familiar with what people need in support. And if there's one thing I've learnt, it's that try to keep records of anything you ever say to anyone, because not just for indemnity reasons, but
Yeah.
half the time you're selling the same questions, answering the same things, and half the time you forget what the answer was.
Yes.
Whereas you
Copy
help
paste.
someone else with something. Exactly, yeah. Sometimes you
Yeah.
got to go, oh, someone else had a problem with this. What did I tell them? That's exactly what I need to tell this person. Wow,
Yeah.
that just saved me 10 minutes of research. So
And you're not using unusual parts, right? So there's not an issue with that. Like, oh, there's parts suddenly
No.
disappeared. Sorry, I can't support you anymore.
no, there's probably one CPU which has a notice on it from Mauser saying this product will end life in 2019 or 2025 or something,
Okay.
which
Still.
is like, you won't be able to get 100,000 units anymore. It's like, yeah, I think I'll be all right, but I will keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
And I will always be thinking in the back of my mind, what's a different CPU I can use? Fortunately, these days, the work I'm doing, at least the circuitry I'm doing, isn't so much about the specialized components on the analog side. It's fortunately a lot of digital, so that means there's a lot of equivalency replacements.
Cool.
Yeah.
Kind of
Not
goes
teenage
half the
engineering.
cost.
Cool.
When you need new components because you run out, just double the price. It's fine. That's what they do. So
Okay.
the 80 on it. Just
Yeah.
all of a sudden went from 700 quid to 1,400 quid. Bargain.
So,
Mm,
so Chris, I got a question. I know it's nosy, and please feel free to fold me off. But what amount of units, if you want to start with combined, would you consider a success of sales from that module, from the expander?
That's a hard one. It's a
I
bit of a
know.
hard one because it's a bit of a
in-
specialized module. So
Still got the house.
yeah, exactly.
It's pretty
Well,
much
I think-
where it needs to be, isn't it?
A success is it working in the first place, isn't it? For
I
a start?
think. Well,
No.
yeah, there is
We're
that.
talking just the marketing side here, because he has done his duties, he's done his homework. The module works fine, I believe. That's what I heard on the grapevine, and is passed with flying colors, apparently. What I'm getting at is, in the modern context of Eurorack, how many units is failure and how many units are profit?
It very much.
Do you
depends
have any
upon
notion of that?
It very much depends on the
Obvious-
development cost.
You have
as
to,
in the
you have to
design,
ponder the cost and
research.
investment, R&D. But
That-
as I
It's
said,
not that, is there? It's
far,
not
I
just
think,
that.
is
You've
the
you also
biggest
got to look at
driver.
it as a business, and that it might be the first step. Your first step might only sell 5, but if you keep selling, if you keep making stuff and keep building stuff, you end up being a known business. So failure is not an option, really, is it? Failure is giving up.
Yeah.
Failure is giving up. So a complete flop would have been if I sold none of them, or if all of the units I sent to my friends didn't work. That would have been a
You
flop.
had to turn back.
But I wouldn't have given up. That's the thing, because I still have that obsession with finding out how to create a good Eurorack module. So,
but
for me, it's a bit of a different proposition. But yeah, in terms of
I
how
want
much
to
can
learn what is actually the
economics,
reality. No, I'm not talking money. Okay, we're not talking money.
Well, it depends on the price of the module. It depends on the price of the module and how many you're going to make, because to make the module cheaper, you need to do a certain degree of bulk buying with it. So there's a certain outlay, and then any module. So the number of modules isn't important. It's whether the profits coming back actually passes the point of the money you have spent.
No.
And hopefully, and it's not taking 5 years to do it, sort of thing.
Yes,
the time span as well.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to learn is what actual numbers are we talking about when we say, oh, this is a good product, this product did good? Because, for instance, Roland ticked the TR303, sorry, the TV, is that TV? The TV303 as a flop. And then I learned that they sold 14,000 units.
That's not
But
a lot.
what I want to put into context is, in the Eurorack world, a successful product, what numbers are we dealing? Are we in the tens? Are we in the hundreds? Are we in the thousands?
I suspect for these days, for modular synth manufacturers on the sort of middle to sort of low to middle range.
Yeah, in the handmade side of them.
Hundreds of units, I would think, would be what a lot of
Couple hundred,
their ambitions would
250
be.
units.
No, I think more like 500, over 500.
500 units.
I think
But
would be
again,
a success.
for
But that's
the
for the well-established sort of modular companies. Just because of the manufacturing path now is a lot cheaper than it used to be, when only your Rolands and your Yamahas could produce, circuit boards in the numbers for the cost.
Then, for a one-man business,
when is it a success? When a lot of customers buy it and use it, is it a success for them or for the manufacturer? For example,
for the manufacturer.
Because I'm thinking of mutable instruments. They didn't survive.
Yeah,
but they were a success. But that was to the users.
I see your point.
Yeah, there's I guess
outside
it's a good
elements.
point,
Yeah.
Well,
you know where Roland said that they considered the TB303 to be a flop, even though they sold 19,000. The point was they'd already set what their success point was going to be, and it's well above what they spent in R&D and materials and shipping.
Yeah.
So they wanted to make. He goes, well, look, we want to make pure profit, a couple of $1 million or whatever, and he didn't quite do it, so it was considered a flop.
Yes. I understand
I sold £68,000 worth of touch digital controllers, right? And it was a complete flop and left me 25k in debt.
Yeah, I get it.
It's not even the numbers.
Yeah, I get it.
No, it's,
you know what I mean?
It's really a mathematical equation of many different factors coming in,
and it'll be different depending on what the product is.
And and it depends whether you've got a bank manager or you don't have a bank manager.
Yeah,
but that's why I'm
trying
trying
to have
to
a different level of success to what you do often.
That's why I'm trying to keep ciphers, as in value of things, apart from the equation. I just want to get a perspective of not the mutable instruments or not the instruo people of the business, but more on the level of Chris's, I do it all myself. What would he, or what is the socio-economical situation consider as a good product? As in, how many units are we talking? Are we talking tens or hundreds? And he said hundreds, and that's a good answer for me. Thank you very much.
I think for Europe, that's just what the vibe I've gotten from the other modular manufacturers that I've like listened to podcasts and stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, I think I've only heard one developer talk about having a flop. So it's interesting. It's their expectations and how something might sell may be a disappointment to them, and also it may be, a financial burden to them. But there's always the next module. Although we are talking about a couple of years ago when the cost of living crisis wasn't quite so strong as it is now, and that's why we're seeing a few more, a quicker. If you have one flop, it may put a company under, whereas a couple of years ago maybe it took 2 in a row, 3 in a row, and if you had one success in between, that maybe helped you stay afloat. So this is the dynamics, I think, of what's happening with the cost of living crisis, changing the equation of what a successful business is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not the best person to talk about the whole scope of business
as I said,
success because I'm just
my point
starting.
is not about money and debt, and it's just I want to know because you hear these, the only words you hear is, oh, it was a successful product, or it was a non-successful product. In the big scheme of things, how many units are now? Because sometimes I get the concept that a successful module for a one-man business in Eurorack is anything beyond 10 units.
I think you're on the wrong
I don't
track.
think that's real.
I don't think it's a numbers game at all. I think you're completely
it's
wrong.
not.
Your whole
Okay.
thing
You're
is
basically
based
saying
is
how
wrong.
long is a piece of string,
Yeah.
Yes.
because
Pointless.
Yeah,
it's
I think
going to be
it's very
different numbers
individual.
for different things. Like
I think it's
depending on
even
their
more
cost, and it's
individual,
all over the place, isn't it?
and I think it's even more individual for smaller developers, because I've, for example, started with a fairly small and inexpensive module. Some of the other manufacturers I've seen create, £1,000 behemoths because that's their vision. That's what they want to bring to the world. They don't want
This
to
is where
bring
you
in
want to
something.
jump in, isn't it?
Yeah. So they have a very different, benchmark.
No, I got your point. Yeah, thank you.
It's not an easy question to answer. Is your baseline? It's difficult to answer.
Yeah.
In a numbers isn't the way of working out if it's a success or not.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be,
Exactly.
but sadly it is because
I
of
think the
all the factors
anaglyph.
we
I
mentioned.
think the anaglyph would be a flop simply because of how it is and how much it costs. It's automatically a flop, and it's like with a lot of manufacturers, single guys, like Chris and stuff like that, where you do it obviously to make a profit, because when you make a profit you can make more stuff, but it's more about the passion of designing, building and creating something.
No, yeah. But plus, I'm not really sure that anaglyph would be a flop, because yes, you take it from the ones we just mentioned, that trying to release a couple hundred units, they couldn't sell them, they ended in debt. But then you have Analog Solutions case. That company shouldn't be alive, and it's not only alive, but it's thriving. So
Again, it's very
that's
exactly in quite a different market where it's very high end.
Yeah, but he's building stuff that fits into a market that was a little thin on the ground in terms of availability of certain things.
Yeah.
In the, like with Eurorack, I mean, Christ, how many people are doing Eurorack modules? And
hundreds.
do you know what
by
I
now.
mean? And it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and it's
Tell me
only
about it.
because it's this there's this sort of like what's the word? A kind of addiction involved with Eurorack, that there's always going to be never enough manufacturers. There's never going to be enough modules.
The
Well, it feels
Eurocrack
like-
crisis.
The Eurocrack crisis, exactly so.
Exactly.
And,
Yeah.
and funny enough, there's another music tech market that is kind of following exactly the same trend, and that's guitar pedals.
Well, it needed it really. The
in
guitar
f-
pedal
it-
craze
yeah, it
started
kinda-
way before Euro, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's kind of giving this impression that it's a bottomless gold mine, that it's not about how many offer anymore, because we're gone beyond in guitar pedals, to my knowledge, which is probably 30% of the reality. We're beyond 1,000 manufacturers in the world. Beyond. I'm falling really, really short. With each of them having at least an offer of 2 models of pedals, more usually five-ish models of pedals. Many of them, an absurd amount of them being redundant, as in they offering the same pedal with a different tweak, right? And you would say that should not hold. That market should have collapsed. That bubble should have burst
Yeah,
a
it should have been
decade ago.
saturated. But
Many
But
markets.
it's getting bigger and bigger.
No, many markets have like what they sort of like they call nuanced products, where, I mean, you go to buy a car, and you can find 50 different models of a car, and they're all the same bloody thing. There's nuanced differences between them. They're all in the same price bracket. They're all the same sort of CC, the same, blah 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 blah. They've all got a wheel in each corner, and doors and stuff, and glass, and a steering wheel.
if you're lucky, yeah.
So what you do is you look for the particular product that speaks to you directly.
Yeah.
It's the same with Eurorack, it's the same with guitar pedals. Because, I mean, if I turned around and said, right, I've invented this, I've come up with this new design for a chorus pedal,
Which
and
is
people go,
not the case anymore.
wow, oh, well done, getting the cue. But if it did something ever so slightly different from what the others were doing, it would appeal to some people, or they go, I just want a chorus pedal that's like slightly different from the other 9 I've got,
But
Sometimes you want change as well.
Yeah.
There's a spare
Wait.
cash principle, which is people with a sufficient amount of spare cash do have the opportunity to make occasional, what I would call virtue purchases.
Yeah.
Which is you need inspiration, and so it's time to get a new pedal.
But I'm going to talk from the one I have the most information, obviously, which is the guitar pedal world. But I think, as I said, the Eurorack world is following very, very parallel trajectory. On the pedal world, on the guitar pedal world, it's happening something that is kind of shouldn't happen, which is geographic location. And second, exclusivity. Yes, you're buying the same exact experience sometimes, or the same product, the same job, the thing that does the same job, because you can't hear any different, but it's from a smaller manufacturer, which puts a little more quality control into it, or 1% better parts inside it, or it's just more scarce. So you
Some
go for
people
that
buy
one
guitar
because
pedals just because of the graphics on it.
Yeah.
It might be
Exactly.
another chorus, but it's got a graphic
Yeah.
that looks cool on their pedal board.
exactly.
That's why they want it.
Many other times it's because of the size of it, because you're talking about the physicalities, HP in the Eurorack world.
That's
And
right.
many
With
times
guitar foot pedals,
it's-
you want a small foot pedal, don't you? Some people don't want a small foot pedal. They want one with 3 buttons on it or 4
Yeah,
I
buttons.
don't-
exactly. Yeah,
I don't want a small expression pedal,
Oh, you might. No, other
and
people
some
might.
people do.
Yeah,
Well, look
Exactly.
at Teenage Engineer.
that's
But
a niche
then-
market area that people play into.
Yes.
That's how it works.
Yeah, and there's another thing that has happened to the pedal world, which is I want to buy the one that is made locally. I don't want to buy it from Japan, from Boss. I want to buy it from the guy next door.
You'd be moving
somebody
around a
explain
lot.
that.
The hand, you're sort of getting into the handmade type of ethos there, which is
Exactly.
where people are looking for products maybe that are bespoke or are made by hand, or
For instance,
know,
limited
it's-
runs, collectability, blah, blah, blah. But it's creating a huge bubble that seems bottomless, because every day I see new pedal
that's-
manufacturers bringing the same pedals to the market, just on a
Everybody
different shade. Or on a
That's
different
happening all
region,
over.
for instance.
it's
Yeah.
Happening all
For
over.
instance, it's very unlikely for me to pay the extra
Consumerism.
cost of buying pedals from a local manufacturer from USA, but I would do it without a blink and a heartbeat from somebody from UK. I would buy the same pedal with the same quality from a guy from UK. Because it would be cheaper for my pocket to have the same quality if I don't have to import it and pay the tax import from USA. So you have two people in two continents making the same exact experience.
If you have a product that's
That's
got a
why-
unique selling point, then you've got a way into your market. That could be the graphics, that could be the price, that could be it's very thin, that could be
The local. That's my point.
niche market you're in, no one else is catering for. So there's
Yeah, but-
loads of ways of selling something, and the biggest, the hardest thing to do isn't making a product. That's not the hardest thing to do. The hardest thing to do
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
to get
Is to sell it.
somebody to fucking look at it. If they can't see it, they ain't gonna fucking buy it, are they?
It's
that
a bit like
simple.
music. It's a bit like
Yeah,
getting your music heard.
it's like music. It's great at doing
It's like-
music. No
there's
one's
a lot of
hearing
great
it.
music
No one's
out there.
fucking buying it, are they?
Nobody hears it, because they weren't on the right, knew the right person, tweeted by the right person,
Yeah.
rapper on the right radio station with the
Is your
on
stuff
the right
that you make
TikTok
quite
these
niche?
days. Have
Yeah.
to be on the right TikTok.
Is stuff that you make quite niche then, Chris?
Oh, sorry. Say again?
What you make, is it a quite niche area, what you're creating into?
I think the specific module I've started with is very niche,
Right.
but I'm moving into a less niche territory, or trying to at least.
You're sort of broadening
So-
it, sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, I would say that it's just coincidence that it started out as being the really niche module, because it went down a rabbit
The reason
hole.
you built it because you wanted it and you couldn't find it.
Yep. Originally, it was all driven by me, and then
That's
the
normally
rest
the best
of it
route.
really.
Yeah.
Rest of it really came from the contributors who
That's
said,
a
"Oh,
good
it'd be cool if it
foundation,
did
then,
that."
isn't it? If you
It's
want
like,
it, then
oh, yeah.
probably somebody else wants it.
Yes, I consider this particular module to be a kind of a collaboration, because it did have a lot of input from other people. Well, I would say inspiration from other people.
Right.
Pushed me into areas that I wouldn't have necessarily explored, but when I realised that I could, it was eye-opening. So,
Cool.
Yeah, but Chris said all the arguments you bring in, to my knowledge, which is very short, are basically the marketing parameters that they used to apply for any enterprise up to the 2000, to the noughties.
That's the basic,
Then
isn't
with
it?
the explosion of the internet and the YouTube demonstrations and the shootouts in YouTube and the Facebook explosion, what I'm referring to is that a new type of marketing has blossomed, one that goes straight from the creator who had the idea and finds somehow the way to go straight to the person who loves not only the product, but the shade that that particular one brings to an oversaturated already market.
The biggest
Which
difference
is-
of internet sales is the idea you can sell it on the internet. You don't need to sell it to a distribution company to then sell it to somebody else. You can set your own fucking
First of
website
all,
and sell it.
allowance how to democratizing the manufacturing of music tech, making more people closer to be able to go into the arena of people selling. But as I said, from the choosing point, like Wagu said, sometimes you don't want the one that everybody had, because
The other thing
we
that's
are-
changed over the last few years, we don't have shops anymore. If you're looking to buy
No.
something, you don't go to a shop and
There's
buy
no-
it out there.
you
There's never-
browse the internet.
yes,
So you,
Yeah, but
you don't,
by
you don't
now-
go to reviews, and reviews are usually going to be a video review. If I read a review, I think it's pointless. But a load of text is
Yeah.
pointless, especially if it's a music product. It's just a load of bollocks. But you
Yes.
need to actually see
But-
it and hear it.
By
Otherwise, you've got no confidence in the thing you're about to buy. And the other
Yes.
thing is, if you're going to watch a video review, don't watch one video fucking review. Watch about 10. Get a real good feel to if it's actually any good or not.
But my point, by 2024, that has spin all the way around. First, we start losing shops because people was starting to buy direct or online. Now the problem is we don't have music shops because we don't trust them. We don't want them anymore. We want
No,
to
I
go
thought-
straight.
also the other
when I
thing-
started learning
Same
from,
with the
just a second, when I started learning from YouTube, I used them as a way to get more opinions before going down the shop and ask for specific products to test myself. Sadly, this second spin that shops are disappearing, or what shops are having, are the things that the majority of the this is going to sound wrong, but the non-educated in music tech people are looking for, because they're looking for the legacy brands, and that's what is remaining in the shops, in the few shops that are surviving, the legacy brands.
When's the last
Fender,
time you
well,
tested the product before you bought it? The last time I tested the
Mm.
product
I
before I bought it was my
Yeah,
Roland
I
TD30 drum kit, and that was in
The on-
God knows, 2015,
the only
14, 10 years ago.
the only thing I never tried before buying is only two things, and they were two synthesizer things: my key step, regular key step, because there was no other option on the market. There was nothing better at that price,
Right.
or equal, because swing wasn't out yet. All right. And the other one was the Behringer 2600 in
Okay.
blue.
So
Because there
how
was no
about the
other
rest of the
option.
people here? How about the rest of the people? How about people like
I've
go
yeah,
for it.
I've yeah, sorry. I've definitely been not been going to stores and trying things out as much as I should, that's for sure. Ranzee is always encouraging me to actually go out and try these things. No, I've definitely turned into that one of those classic persons who does their research to the nth degree, watches as many videos as he can, and then makes a purchase decision as far away, as divorced as possible from the business, as divorced as possible from the shop whole ethos of the old-fashioned shop as possible, because I find all that stuff very icky, because I'm slightly antisocial.
I don't like the pressure of a shop. I don't like going.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone over your shoulder going like,
yeah,
it's very
I'm
good,
the
isn't it?
same,
Would
yeah.
you like to buy it? We can wrap it up now. You know what I mean? I don't want that shit.
Yeah, I'd rather go into a store and actually chat to the guys than to spend time haggling and getting advice and stuff like that. I'd rather go in there when I've made a decision and just talk to them about what my decision is, and we share much more pleasant time, I find.
I love stores. I still miss video stores, and I still miss record stores. So,
I mean, you buy loads of things, in fact. So how do you judge what to buy, other than it's the thing that you haven't got?
I do go to the stores a lot for that reason. I still want to try stuff out. Like I got to try the new montage, and I was like, whoa, that thing really is fucking cool, you know. But I've just heard everyone talking great things about it. But to really try it is the big deal. And I'm going to NAMM, and I always go to Perfect Circuit when I go to LA. So that's one of the best stores to go in, because they have everything in there. That's like a boutique store, so they'll have the crazy expensive stuff as well as the cheap stuff.
You're sort of quite lucky then that you can.
Yes.
Well,
that's the thing.
You know,
yeah.
You got to drive sometimes out of your way, because San Francisco has a few, but they're not that good anymore.
But you still have the option. Same for me. If I want to go to a fully sorted shop, I need to go to Bristol. That's hour and 20 minutes drive through very bad roads. It's not because the distance, it's the very bad roads. But I can give you another shade of the experience of the shop. One of the reasons why I'm reticent to go down to a shop is that because I was always broke, and I had to choose to the as Chris says, research to the nth degree, because I didn't even have the penny that I was about to spend. I had to be 1000% sure that was the thing that would be suited for me. I found myself
what Ken's got to say. Dying to hear what Ken's got to say, because I think it's going to be hit and miss. It's but my guess what Ken's about.
Just 1 minute.
As a professional agoraphobic, I can say I don't try before I buy. Honestly, I bought.
But you're taking advantage to the new generation that you have your 30-day money back guarantee on most of the online shops. But as I was in a way to saying, one of the reasons I started being reticent to go down to shops is not because I didn't want to buy from the shop or because they didn't even have the materials I have. It's because I found myself knowing more about the item than the guy in the shop. I was teaching the guy in the shop what the item could do.
He must have loved you.
And I said,
Oh yeah.
oh, they hated me. They hated my guts. That's another reason why I stopped going. It's like, I don't buy everything.
Quick, right,
right.
Computer shops are the same. All tech
Yeah.
shops,
Eddie,
they don't know shit.
Eddie,
so-
that's a bad reason to not go there. If you know more than
know.
them, then you can cheat them. Then you can get a better price.
Yeah, but they don't like it, and they kick you out, or they
And so
overcharge
what?
you.
You just go.
I don't have the
Instead.
money.
Ken,
I've been
I don't
kicked
have
out
the
of some of
money
the
to
best
allow them to
music shops in
overcharge
the
me.
country.
Ken,
It's a badge of honour.
I'd love to know how you went your buying process on different things. So how did you come to spend 4,000 quid on a montage?
It was a Yamaha.
It was what? It was just it was okay.
It was a Yamaha. It had polyphonic aftertouch and a weighted
Why did you buy the
keyboard.
previous montage?
I don't know. I've
Exactly.
never heard
Some
one.
things you don't have a choice because there's nothing that does exactly the same job out. There's
No,
not.
you kind of know. I mean, this is the one thing about main manufacturers. You kind of get a feel by looking at, even just looking at a list of specs. You can get a feel for what it is you're getting.
Right.
I mean, I bought the Behringer 55.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm on the iPad and bored one night. I'm going, oh, that looks pretty. Bye. Right, what else we got? And and see how it goes. Oh, I better buy some cables, and I must learn the difference between one pack of 10 and one cable.
100, yes.
One small ink
Do
container.
you want a cable should do it, shouldn't
Oh,
it?
you will.
Another reason you guys want to go to the stores is I find half the stuff I get is cool finds I go when I'm out of the stores. Like, ooh, look at that used thing that's dirt cheap. I have to get that. I wouldn't have seen it on a website because a lot of times they don't post it.
Right.
I wouldn't know I even wanted it until I got to see it, play with it, and then they even get to see stuff like a Prophet 10 original or a Emulator 2 Plus or whatever, things I never played before.
So-
I could play with them.
So they're the stores that sell both brand new
used,
and new and used. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the
Guitar
the
Center
used
does that. They have good
stores,
stuff. Yeah.
the used stores dried up first. The used sections
Yeah.
of store dried up first here in Australia. I don't know.
Oh,
if
Don't
it-
you have like a Guitar
used-
Center equivalent
That
that
went
sells
first.
used?
Yeah.
It's like the
And
EV market is now making second-hand car places do literally that now, where they have the second-hand car sale, and it's just just money off all the cars right across the whole spectrum of cars, and it's taking that sort of like that guitar store kind of ethos now, where when there's too much of something going on, it happens. I mean, the music, hardware in
Sorry,
music
Ian.
is massive now. Ex-music shop owner. Yeah. Have you met Eddie?
I'm your worst nightmare.
He never
You
came
two
back
would
with
get
it,
along
so-
great.
Although I've been thinking about buying stuff from your eBay shop. Yeah,
It's
the
not online
hand
yet,
pans you had in 100 quid is in my shopping list.
Is it? What was it?
That thing that it's called hand pans, the one with the tongues that different notes where you percute on them.
All right.
Round.
Drum,
From-
hand pen.
From piano?
All right. Is that still on there? I thought, is that a Korg thing?
No. On Cena's music shop on
Yeah.
eBay, you had all the stuff that is not Korg. For instance, the percussion items, and I think you had I assume it's going to be like this big handband for 99 quid.
They've all gone, I think.
That's how long ago I saw it
Yeah.
and put it in the list. Sorry,
Sorry, mate.
I'm sorry for being the
No,
demise of your
it's
enterprise.
fine. I mean, being the ex-music shop retailer, getting people to come into your shop was always a bit of a problem.
Yep.
And I will say it's a small percentage of people who used to come in the shop, and actually they would come with their phone saying, "Well, I can buy it from Toman, cheaper than here."
I've
So
never
it
gone
was-
that far, but I thought it many times.
People had the audacity to do that on a fairly regular basis, and the fact that we were only 16 miles from Gear for Music.
Doesn't help.
And everybody automatically assumes that the really big shops are the cheapest in the world.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case because quite a lot of our products we were actually cheaper than Gear for Music. Not everything.
Oh, no,
you know.
yeah.
But
Some things you can't.
We were certainly competitive, you know, as a small music shop in a market town. You know, we couldn't rely on just people walking through the door.
I get you.
And small shops can. I mean, you know, you need to do something else. You need to, you know.
Yep.
So, you know, we did over 300 lessons a week, and that generated probably half of our weekly revenue was doing lessons. So renting out rooms.
Oh, I get
So
it.
if music shops are going to survive, and actually, having said that, I know that we sold our music shop in 2019, but there was no reason for the music shop in this town to close. That was a decision by the new owner. So that shop really should still be there, and it should be still doing lessons and supporting the local community.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
But the worst thing was when somebody who was a regular, who came every week for their lesson, wanted to show you their new guitar that they just bought, and you never even knew they were in the market. Well, look
To
what
buy a
I just
guitar.
bought. You know.
Yeah, I get it.
You know.
I know
Or
it's heartbreaking.
The
I
guy
get
that
it
walked
totally.
in and bought. He said, "I've just bought a new Trace Elliott bass amp." I said, "You do know that we are a Trace Elliott agent?" He went, "No."
Nope. Exactly. Knowledge is
Inky's
key
nearest
nowadays.
Inky's nearest store is 8 hours away. Do you,
What?
Ink, do you
Wow.
live on an oil rig or something?
Yes, she does.
She lives at the end of the world, Ken.
Oh my
Everybody knows
god!
that.
Well, I wouldn't say 8 hours. I think it takes you 8 hours to get to Bristol or to Exeter. They're
She
very
lives
nice.
where the land
Exeter-
meets the sky.
Exeter is nearer for Inky, but surely
That's not
Plymouth-
8 hours.
Plymouth is nearer than Exeter for her, I think.
Okay.
She's in Cornwall, so
Oh, he's just talking
Ah.
modular. Okay, modular is either Bristol or the
right,
big,
okay.
the really
Bristol,
big
yeah.
ones. Yes, that's true. You need to go to a very big place to find offer
ice
and
cream.
variety of modular. Yeah.
Ah, makes sense.
Yeah, everything has changed. And for instance, yes, what the local shops, to me at the moment, what local shops can do for me that nobody else can, is one of the things they are not doing anymore because it's becoming harder and harder and harder to do, which is repairs.
yeah, we should do it. We had a healthy repair business. There were certain things. I mean, you know, from a guitar technician point of view, I can do a setup on any guitar, no problem at all. But I can't repair a neck or do sort of the luthier type stuff. But there was somebody reasonably local that we would send people to. We never took a cut of that. We would just say, "Oh, you know, we'd have a pile of his cards and say, look, go and talk to him. He's really good. You know, he's only just down the road, you know, and he won't rip you off, really."
Yeah, but it's such a shame that this buy it and trash it mentality that every aspect of the music gear business is taken. It's like starting with the tech, the more techy, the more computery device you talk about, the more mentality of, oh, you buy it, you use it for this many years and put it in a bin. Don't even try to, don't even attempt it.
Inbuilt obsolescence, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But what is really pitiful is that it's reaching things like, I don't know, guitars, amplifiers, which you should buy once in a lifetime. A guitar amplifier should last you a lifetime. But no, they make it so awkward and so fragile to gig around that they break in 5, 6, 10 years, and nobody will fix it, either because it's not profitable for the fixer, for the repairs. He would have to charge you as much as a new item because they're so cheap. Beringer, sorry for cursing.
I mean, part of that has
knew
to be
someone
the
was gonna
fact
say it.
that manufacturers do building obsolescence
Yeah.
into not only our gear, not only synths and amps and all that sort of
All
stuff,
sorts
but
of stuff.
generally
On
you know,
everything.
You know, whatever you buy, you know, our dishwasher's gone on the blink. It's 10 years old, and it was going to cost 50 quid for a guy to come out and look at it before we
Look
even
at it.
went anywhere. And I
That's
can
if
tell
you can get the parts.
if I can get the
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah,
You know.
we had a fridge breakdown and it was only
Yeah.
like 4 years old, and it's like, oh no, so they don't do the part anymore. We didn't even know. Said
had
the
that with our
manufa-
boiler.
Yeah, said the repairer.
This house
like,
is 20
what?
years old. So boiler would have been 20 years, coming up to 20. This is before the pandemic. So it was 17, 18 years for the boiler. And the only reason we had to get a new boiler was he couldn't get the parts.
Yep, heard
Yeah,
that.
No,
and
which
that
is-
and that exactly attitude of everything on every
Yeah,
market
yeah.
of any
Yeah.
item everywhere is sadly to me what is making the rent to buy or the subscription model sadly appealing, because you're basically what you're doing is you're getting yourself into a leasing system. You don't buy anything, you don't own anything anymore, but you're assured that you will have something to do the job for a way longer time with a smaller monthly effort.
The downside of something lasting forever is your business will go
Yeah.
out of business. Remember, was it Sunbeam
Exactly.
card?
it was.
I know,
Meccano
I
was the
know.
classic,
I
wasn't
totally
it?
understand the economics of it. I get it. That's why it's happening, and it doesn't seem to have a solution.
Well, there's a balance
The-
between both, aren't they?
Innovation.
It depends what you're going to get.
But I mean,
Is there
it's
any more-
easier,
any-
it's
is
easier to
there-
get a sort of 1960s, 1970s valve amp fixed than it is to get a modern transistorized amp fixed. Because, you know, I mean, we really struggled to find anybody when we had the shop to fix transistorized amps when people would bring them in. You know, lots of people out there will do valve stuff.
Question: It was
Like
hard
TV
to
repair
find.
shop, remember that?
Interesting.
Question, because I
It's
think
mainly
it's
because
whether
valves didn't change, but transistors did,
Yeah.
that's one.
Yeah.
and they
And
became
also-
obsolete, and they'd be obsolete,
massive-
and whereas valves would go on forever.
Wait.
Inventory is
But
a
I want to
problem,
make a nuance here, and please ask me, Ian, answer me this. Was hard to find the guy with the knowledge to do the repair, or was hard to find the guy that on reasonable fares would do it below the price of buying a new item?
Well, the valve amp thing, I could find probably three.
No.
No,
A
hang on.
transistor.
Yeah, no, but just a sec. So valve amp
Yes.
repairs, I could find three people to do it. The nearest person to actually do a transistorized repair would be in Leeds, which economically wasn't worth. You know, we didn't get. It's not like we had like 5 amps a week coming in. You know, so we'd have to ship it over to him or take it over to him. So that adds to the cost. So it's the cost.
So you're talking about the knowledge.
Yeah,
What's
I
hard
mean,
to find
there's
the knowledge.
plenty of people out there with the knowledge, whether the parts are available or
Parts.
whether they're, you know.
Yep. Parts
That's a
inventory.
whole
That
different
bites
thing.
on top, yes. That's another nuance. That is, and that's what I mean. Is we get into this society where it's not that it's hard to find somebody who would fix it. And mostly in this first world, most of us in this screen are living, UK, Australia, USA. The repair, because what do you mean? Who are you pointing at?
I was just saying,
Chris, who are you
no,
pointing out?
there's a person down there who can tell you a lot about parts not being available anymore, causing problems in synthesizer repair land. That's all.
Yeah,
Which is the second side. The ones that are easy to repair, as in they're big enough, the through hole, the technique to repair it is attainable, don't have parts anymore, and the only way to get them is to cannibalize other units, hopefully broken,
Oh yeah, yeah.
or
yeah.
sometimes. And
Well, in a previous life, I had a hi-fi shop for 10 years, and it was called the Audio Clinic, surprisingly. So, consequently, a good percent of our business was repairs. Now, in those days, I employed a really good engineer who could fix most audio-based things. We didn't touch TVs and cameras and all that sort of stuff because camcorders were just a nightmare, and you know, and video recorders didn't want to know about that. But we literally had a storeroom full of broken gear, stealing components because
Wow.
you couldn't get the components from, you know, if actually you couldn't either get the components, and if you could get the components, although the supplier might be in the UK, it'll take you 3 weeks to a month.
oh yeah,
And
yeah,
part of our
yeah.
model was we need to try and turn this repair around in a week, 10 days at most.
That's a fast
Get the money
turnaround.
in,
Yeah, I
get
get
the
it.
money in and do more repairs. You know.
and
I
this is
get
why you would have certain types of synthesizers, for instance, that if they have a common part that fails on them, they're worth nothing and nobody wants to touch them, because no, for instance, like with a Jupiter 4, if somebody phones me up with a Jupiter 4 and they say, you play the keyboard and it just keeps repeating itself and it doesn't trigger the envelopes properly and everything like that, and you go, yeah, that's your keyboard processor board. It's probably your CPU has gone. Oh, well, that costs a lot to do. Well, fortunately, somebody now does make replacement CPUs for them, but they only work in one of the variants of the Jupiter 4. They work in the late ones, they don't work in the early ones. So, of course, the next question is, what series, is it a version 1, version 2 JP4? And, of course, they're going to go,
yes. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and what it means
the
is,
one with keys.
I can have a JP4 come in with this problem, and I've got 4, 5 spare JP4s out in the garage, but I know that they've all got the same part wrong with them.
That's right.
And it will be the same part in this bugger as well, which will make. This is why it's a 2-tier thing. So the JP4's price drops if it has the fault. If it's working, it goes up more.
Yeah.
And this is where the start of this whole vintage thing started to go really mad. And as time progresses, these machines become further and further apart. And of course, what happens is somebody sees a JP4 for sale for like 300 quid, not working. They go, yeah, bargain, grab it. Phone me and go, yeah, I got this JP4, and all that's wrong with it is the keyboard does this repeating thing. I go, mate, it's a doorstop on a warm day. And they won't. No, I'll try somebody else.
You think the
Like
vintage
buying a horse
thing
is saying this horse is great, but it's dead. We can fix it.
it's not breathing? Can you revive it?
Got all of its legs. One of them's not moving properly.
I'll whip the horse. Settle. Yeah.
It's just sleeping. It's just
Yeah,
You-
just one of its legs is sticking out of its forehead like that. Can you fix it? Yeah.
You
It's
think
a parrot.
you think the vintage thing on synthesizer is gone pricey? You lightweights. You need to see the guitar
Holy guitar.
Bullshit.
because
Don't give me that guitar shit again.
No.
No.
I'm gonna give you all day long
go.
for one reason and one reason alone. There's no freaking electronics in a guitar, and the price
There isn't, because I can fix it.
double. Yeah, exactly. If they go broken, there's tons of people around which have learned that they can charge enough to make a living out of repairing those. Because you're talking wire, potentiometers, and wood mostly of the time.
Varnish.
And you
But you don't want to wire
Look,
like
let's
a
not-
pickup by hand.
let's
Good
not
stuff.
let's not get into the polyester and nitro discussion, please. Already too much blood has been spilled on that field, right? So you're seeing people paying $500,000 for a guitar that was built in the 50s. £500,000 sterling pounds.
Only
Claiming
$500,000.
that
Only $500,000.
1964.
no electronics, remember? A
Sorry?
piece of wood with wires, $500,000.
I hear a CS80 story coming.
No. How
Yeah,
about
but once again,
how about Miles Davis's Fender Rhodes?
Oh god, yeah, that went for a lot.
how much did that one go for?
Well, I'll let you know.
I'm not talking about the
It's
ones-
going to
the ones-
Christie's. I think it's 2.4.
million, yeah. But I'm not talking about the items that were played by famous players. I'm talking just because of the age. If you put on top of the $500,000 for a 50s Stratocaster, then you put
$500,000
this is the one.
I used to have the blue books. $500,000 is not for a sort of the highest priced Fender Stratocaster was the 1965, I think, or 64 one. The one before Fender were first taken over. Now that one in mint condition would be 20 to 25 grand. It wouldn't be $500,000.
What year?
64.
What year?
It's either 64 or 65. I can't quite remember.
No. What year was that price from?
Oh, from
When did you read that?
I used to. I mean, like I said, I used to have the blue books. They weren't blue. They were brown. But I used to because we used to value guitars for people. So There's two blue
Yeah.
books. There's the
I'm-
acoustic one,
I'm-
and then there's the electric.
Yeah,
guitar.
there's £500,000 microphones, and that's just a bit
Yeah,
of
there
wire
are,
wrapped
yeah.
around a cotton
Yeah.
reel.
Yeah, you're only going to get a half a
Okay.
pound Stratocaster if it was
Vintage
owned by
smarts.
somebody like Jimi Hendrix or
Yeah.
So the providence of that instrument, because it was played by Eddie
In
Wilson.
In the 90s,
Plato's
I
trumpet.
read that
Yeah.
in the 90s, I read the auction for Hendrix's white Stratocaster from Woodstock. All right.
Yeah.
And that was £1 million,
I
$1
can
million
understand that.
Yeah, but that's Hendrix.
in the 90s.
It's because of Hendrix, exactly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but that's what I mean. Yes, for a regularly owned Strat from the pre-CVS 60s, they go between 30 to 60, depends on how much do you want to.
What's the
go
point of this
into a
price
bid.
thing? Where's the goal you're heading to? What are you trying to say?
I
That
think he knows.
collectability and scarceness affects every single side of the music tech world, and to my eyes, it's more ludicrous when there's basically no R&D and no electronics attached to it.
Well, at a certain
And-
point, all these synthesizers that can repairs will be unrepairable and won't work, but they still have value.
How much is a
Someone will
Stegosaurus
want one.
skull?
What?
How much is a
Stegosaurus
Stegosaurus skull? There's no electronics in that either, but I bet it cost a few quid. It's not.
I don't know what it is.
Rarity.
Yeah.
There's 1,000 different reasons why things
In
cost
Western
as much
Australia,
as
we
they do.
had hundreds of those Stegosaurus cells lying out the back in all the rocks
Yeah.
in Western
Yeah.
Australia.
Go and pick one up. It's $4,
Yeah.
mate.
Yeah. A dime a
Put it in the
dozen.
back of the ute and off you go. You know.
That's right.
I mean,
Yeah.
why is that 145 grand?
How many of them are there? You said
Well,
8.
Probably, yeah. Maybe 8, maybe 40. It's hard to say. Nobody
It's also-
really knows. Do you know
It's
what I
also
mean?
legendary. It's,
Wow,
it's
okay.
cool,
But
yeah.
but
Lack of
how did it
records.
come to that point? Who
Price.
decided? Who decided that was 145k?
Was people with
market.
more money than, I don't know, sense, sorry to say this, and people who with only one thought in mind. I want it.
It's
No
not
one
the
else.
art industry, innit? It's a bit of
only one thing. There's
Yeah.
only one factor with that is that
Mhm.
because somebody is willing to pay it. That's it.
Exactly.
End of.
Exactly.
I
So
want
if-
it.
artwork.
If you
It's
got
like
a
artwork.
That's the
guitar
means.
and you go, it's worth 750,000, mate, and they buy it, that's the
Yeah.
price.
Exactly.
It's like I've
Something
just
like
looked on eBay. There's loads of. It's a 1964 Stratocaster, which is pre-CBS, right? So that's the one I worked on. I worked on one of these.
Okay.
In mint condition, you're looking at 18 to 20 grand. There's at least 3 or 4 of them up there, right? Now, they're
Okay.
obviously not famous guitars. They're just they're looking nice condition. Although you can't quite tell what the action's like on the picture.
Obviously.
You know, and what condition that's it. But so, you know, anything more than that, I mean, and they're for sale. That's not what people are buying them for. That's what people want them to buy them for.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
until
So,
it's bought at that, that's not.
you know.
It's not the price until it's bought.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
And sadly, for these collection items, as in this case items, there is the speculative value to it. And that's why
Yeah,
the
I mean-
musicians who use them as tools for a craft are suffering in a way because they become out of reach. But then you think, good, that's that. Let's hone in that particular example you put, that over-harmonic voice. That's its sound 140,000 or 138,000 times better
You won't. No.
than UDO Super Gemini.
No.
No.
So it's disproportionate.
Yeah. I mean,
So
and
it
that-
gets out of
No,
reach.
because it's not based on the sound.
no.
Exactly.
The-
There's
It's about collectability
101
and scarceness.
different things that will
Reasons.
decide what
Yeah.
what the price will be.
Yeah.
I mean, the Kraftwerk vocoder, I've got it working now.
Whoa.
Daniel Miller is going
Bravo.
la 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 party like this all day long, and I got it all working. And he said to me, you know, what do you think it's worth? I go, it's the only
Millions.
one in the world.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
And you used it, so millions.
I go, it could be worth less because it's blue. Oh. You know? And the thing is, in the world of vocoders, this is probably the least exciting vocoder you could ever use. From a
This is
sound
the
point of
sound
view.
you
The person that's going to
From a
buy
feature,
that is
feature
not,
perspective.
they're going to buy it as an investment, aren't they? They're going to buy it because not necessarily they're going to use it. I mean, you find exactly the same with guitars and other instruments.
Yep.
People buy them to put them on the wall or put them behind a glass case as an investment. You know.
Ain't that a shame?
Go, Chris. Sorry.
So there's one exception. There's one exception to that rule. We're going back further than guitars. Stradivarius violins.
Oh, yeah, hello.
I think each one of those gets played.
Yeah.
But
Always a
aren't
bit wary
those
when
kind
you
of-
though.
Always
Not
a bit wary when you
necessarily
see a
all year
Stradivarius and it's
round.
got a volume pot on it, though.
Yeah.
But wait,
Or a vocoder.
Yeah, it's been modded, mate. It's much better now.
We had somebody brought a Stradivarius in, right? Now,
Yeah.
we did a little bit of research because we're not, there's a violin shop sort of near just outside of Hull who specialise really, and that's what you need to do. You need to talk to. This violin had a sticker in it that said Stradivarius. It was really old, and apparently there are bloody hundreds of violins out there
Yeah.
that are very old that all have, some sort of, marked into the wood in the base of it saying Stradivarius. So, I mean, we said to the guy, look, it could be worth absolutely nothing. You need to have this checked out because it could be worth a fortune, but
It says
there are
one of the
a
good
lot-
ones.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of fake Stradivarius out there.
Good. That's a very nice point.
Bit
But
like the
another
art
thing
world.
with the Stradivarius stuff, for instance, the first example I've heard of was of a Stradivarius guitar, a Spanish guitar, right? There's one in Spain, but that is owned by the National Orchestra, no particular owner, and it does get played by the official guitar player from the National Spanish Orchestra, nobody else, right? So it's kind of a rotating door for that instrument to be played.
Same thing. with
Isn't that the
Strads.
same?
Yeah.
That's my point. Most
They
of those
usually-
cellos and the violins are owned by either corporations or countries. Big
Quite a lot of
enterprises.
individuals, quite a lot of wealthy individuals own Stradivarius,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
as such, give them to a representative in their country of the top orchestra.
Okay, so you mean that
Pretty common,
although
yeah.
is the orchestra the one using it, the person owning it is a particular.
Quite often, because quite often the not all the music societies around the world have the kind of bottoms pits of money that you need to really own a Strad.
I get
or
it.
Or the cello, whatever the cello.
I get
is. Yeah.
Plus,
So I think it's more-
with the Stradivarius, I think it happens another thing, which is exactly what Ian just told. Same as Mozart. Mozart musicians in history, I think they go beyond 20 people, but only one, Wolfgang Amadeus, got famous and historically and timeless. I think Stradivarius was kind of not an academy, but a mass production according to the ranges of the time. They had a very big school of people, of luthiers, building stuff. That's why they diversificated doing violins, all the orchestra string section, going down to the, how to put it, lesser art of Spanish guitars. Because at the time that they were built, the Spanish guitar didn't have a space in the traditional orchestra, mostly because it was too quiet. It was impossible to get a Spanish guitar heard. That's one of the reasons why many of the classic concerts of a Spanish guitar the orchestra is either very, very low, rounded, or they leave a lot of space to the guitar to come in, and mostly amplified. They come from the amplification.
I'll have to break in for a second. And it's only to tell that I have to leave, but Andy will continue the stream, so you can continue this good discussion. So
Well, I think it's dead already. It's too old.
no,
I know.
We can go
There's
for another
still
hour because I can
31
get my nap, so I'll
viewers.
do another hour.
So-
This one.
Yeah.
Well,
So Andy
up
will
to you. I'm
continue, and I
happy
will leave.
to close it.
Bye,
here.
Henry.
Good to see you,
Yeah.
Henry.
Thanks, Henrik.
Well, babe,
Thank you
Thanks
very
so
much.
mate.
Cheers, mate.
Take care,
care.
man.
Good work. He got this up working very quickly.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
That's the beauty of StreamYard. It's really easy to use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
why.
God.
That's why I bought
You
it.
need a
bless.
subscription. Yeah.
So to me, the only shame in all this subject of collectors, because they're becoming museum artifacts, these musical instruments, but the collector side, for some parts of them, I think we should be thank them because they're the ones putting the effort, the will, and the money into keeping them to the greatest extent, keep them alive, at least one of them working, but also creates a very big gap of things that the common musician will never even be near. They become unattainable because of the escalade, because scarcity, historic value, that word you said about who played the instruments, I don't remember the English word, and the investment ratio that goes into those historic pricey items. In other words, I think it's unavoidable, but it's kind of a shame.
This
Yeah,
is why
but the
Teenage
gaps- the
Engineering is
gaps are
great
filled.
because they keep updating their stuff. They don't leave you abandoned.
Yeah.
So I have an
Plus the-
original OP1 that I've updated 5 times since I bought it, and I bought it when it was already old. So
Well,
You
you know,
could do
plus
with
the
another
gaps
update
are
for the
filled as
OP1
well.
version.
If you take something like the TR-808, right, when they were about 3.5 bleeding K,
Yeah.
and then Roland turn around and go, hang on a minute, there's something going on here. Let's redo it, you know. And you can get TR-808 sounds in keyboards and, you know, things that bleeding big, right? It's not a problem.
download the samples.
Exactly.
Able to
Did
do
it? But did it stop? You know, did the price of the TR-808 drop? No.
Crazy.
And never will.
Okay, that's interesting.
And
So
never
it's
will,
Very
but
interesting.
and I think
Yeah.
it's because of the investment value. Is we keep in the is kind of to my eyes it's the same. Sorry, into my eyes it's the same silly situation as with the Bitcoin, because that's the biggest example of the economical reality of 2024. People are putting money, as in real money, to buy fake money, because on a speculative environment is increasing value. But what if somebody wants to cash that and there's not enough money to back all the fake money?
Well, the other thing about
Eventually we
Bitcoin
go
is
down.
the other thing about
that
Bitcoin
sound
is it's
familiar?
harder to trace.
That's the whole,
So it's very good for moving
For
money
whom?
around.
Quite and easy to destroy.
Yeah.
Is it? I never knew.
Yeah.
I thought it was the opposite.
No.
The funny thing about the 808 and 909s, my friend had one of each and sold both of them around 2008, 2009, for about $2,000 each. And look at the prices now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's funny
Yeah,
how they talk about Bitcoin and stuff like that being fake money as opposed to real money. Well, real money is pieces of paper where somebody's told you
Exactly.
how much it's worth.
It's exactly
Exactly, but
But
somebody's
then
backing
calling
it
the
up.
black.
That's the difference.
Real money is a
insurance
promise
on that.
note. Real money is a promise note.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But at least through a
Yes.
bank, you have insurance. Like we have
That's
That's why
FDIC
it says
here,
we promise
insured.
to pay on it.
Yeah.
We promise to pay £10. £10 this week might buy you, I don't know, whatever. But £10 next week might buy you fuck
No,
all.
nothing.
The actual
Exactly.
value is
Still a promise
arbitrary.
to the same quid.
Yeah. No. We started the minute we started printing money, as in paper money, because before that, technically, the scarceness of the metal that was printed that was coined. Sorry for the redundancy.
We had
Coined
the gold
in the
standard
coin.
back then, a long time ago.
Silver, gold, copper at one time, because I think you could use copper nowadays as well, because we're going through a copper crisis. Copper is more
Don't
pricey.
see the police
I
on
don't
the
know,
street
valuable,
still,
but
do
more
you?
pricey than silver.
Anyway.
That's why copper's being
Sorry, what?
stolen from
Yeah.
construction sites
Nice.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Construction
I missed
sites.
the end
Listen to
I missed
this.
the end of the talk about expensive items. Here's my take on an expensive item. If someone had Eric Clapton's guitar for sale and it's 55,000 quid, and I had a spare 55,000 quid, my
Yes.
first question would be, Why is it shit then? Because Eric Clapton's got rid of it. Hey, he's
No.
binned it.
Yes.
He's binned it.
Ooh.
And
I got the
second-
answer if you want it.
My second question
Wow.
would be,
He has a bunch of them.
Eric
I got the
Clapton
answer if
is-
you want it.
No, no.
Do you want
I
it?
haven't finished yet. My
Yeah.
second thing would be, if Eric Clapton is in trouble and
Mhm.
I've got loads of money, I'll buy his guitar and give it back to him if he's not got enough money for it. But he's got rid of that
Mhm.
guitar. So he thought it
Mhm.
wasn't good enough for him, so he's binned it.
hmm
So why the fuck
Mhm.
would I want it? Pointless nonsense.
Exactly. Because with that guitar, classic
People don't-
recordings were made.
Yeah, and he threw it away.
Yes.
Him, it's
But,
worth.
but then
We'll
you're
move on.
okay.
Well, he's getting
First
money
of
for
all,
it. He's not throwing it
first-
away. He's capitalizing on
Moving
its
on.
inherent
He's a
value.
guitarist, though. You know,
Exactly.
he's not decided to take up
It's
the Xylophone,
capitalizing. First of all, Kresha, do you want me to answer or is just a
Yeah, go
rhetorical
for it.
question? Good. So, it's an investment. He bought the guitar, let's call it £100 back in the 60s. In fact, he didn't bought that guitar because he bought 6 guitars for $50 or $20 each from a pawn shop, and he created a parts caster, like in chopping parts from all of 6, and he created Blackie with all those parts.
He
the
didn't
ones
buy
he
it as an
loved.
investment. He bought the guitar to play guitar.
Yeah, because that was the only way to have a nice playing guitar in the 60s in UK. Right? To go to America, buy them fucking cheap because nobody wanted them in pawn shops. And that's why all of the UK guitar players did. Went then in a tour, hopefully, and came back loaded with guitars to the point that some of them gave guitars free to their friends. The ones I like the least from
Why
all
did
the
he get
bunch
rid of the
I bought.
guitar? Why did he bin the guitar?
Why?
for example?
Because that guitar, because of who played it and what and how
No,
many
he
albums it
played
was
it. It's
played
his
on.
guitar. Why did he get rid of the
Well, he's
guitar?
not precious about it. He wanted to get some
Yeah.
money for it, and he's
What
done.
do you
with it.
mean?
Yeah,
It's an
exactly.
artistic decision,
It's a tool.
isn't it?
It's a tool to make some sounds.
Exactly. For
if you
him, it's
buy
a
that
tool.
about-
£55,000
between art and
Eric
commerce.
Clapton guitar, does that mean you're going to play like Eric Clapton?
Just like him. It'd be a perfect
That's what the
copy.
buyer thinks. That's what the buyer thinks because the
fucking idiots,
industry,
aren't they?
the guitar industry, makes you believe so.
I mean, they made the
This
clone
is-
of
Don't sound like
Frankenstein.
Van
Eddie Van
Halen.
Halen had a Frankenstein clone sold so people could look like Eddie Van Halen and sound like Eddie Van Halen. You know,
Well, I
Not
tell
a
you what.
chance.
Why did Toto sell their GS2? And when I played Africa
Because-
on it, it didn't sound like the way Toto had played it.
Ah.
Playing it, not you.
I'm getting to that.
musicality. Wow.
Hey, guys, I'm getting to that. The guy sold it because he could do a satisfactory job with a tool, half the market, as in collector's market price, that he would get for that unit. So I bought it for 10. They're paying me 100 for it. So I sell it for 100, buy another 30 instrument that to me does the same job, and I get a profit out of it. That's why they sell it. Or auction it, which is even worse, because then the sky's the limit if you go to an auction, right? That's the reason why they get rid, not because it's not a useful tool anymore, which in guitar world is also the case, because your hearing changes through the years, even more if you abuse it through 100-watt valve amplifiers night after night. So what you find pleasant on your 20s is not the same you find pleasant on your 40s or 60s or 70s. So the goal for what is the real one, the real good guitar, moves. So you move with the moving of that goal. The 65 Stratocaster was the perfect tool in the 60s, but in the 80s, he went fucking preamplified. He went to a fucking Pro Strat with active electronics like Dave Gilmour, for instance. So that one, although he still did a nice job and nobody would give him enough money for that guitar to cover the loss, the emotional loss of the memories that he had attached to the guitar, he didn't sell it in the 80s or the 90s or the 2000s.
Most
Scroll
guitars,
up.
most piece of musical history that sell are artwork. They have nothing to do with the capability of what they can play.
Yeah.
If
It's
they work or
artists.
don't work,
Exactly.
most people it doesn't matter one fucking little tiny bit because they ain't going to play it anyway.
There are exceptions to the rule, I must admit.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I would say the majority of people buy it because
Yeah.
someone's touched it. It's like a piece of artwork. And that's what it is basically.
Yeah.
They're gonna dust
But
I would do
I
it.
I know that there have been people, various famous people with various famous bits of, kit that they've sold and regretted it
Yeah.
Yes.
and wish they hadn't.
I regretted selling my
Yes.
TB 303. Fucking hell, what a rip off.
Well, there you
We
go.
could also have Nigel Tufnell, where you can't even look or point at his guitar. It's
Hi, Robbie.
Yeah.
Hi, Robbie.
Robbie, tell them about what happened to the show.
Uh-oh.
Oh, hello.
Yes.
You got
yes,
yanked?
I just joined the Facebook group, so now I know.
Yes.
What'd you guys do?
One is
I
kept
was still there.
We had the audacity to play the trailer for
Oh.
Prince's Yamaha custom
Copyright
piano.
strike.
Ah.
And even though it's on Yamaha's channel, and it doesn't feature Prince and it doesn't feature music by Prince, clearly Warner's have some sort of finger in that pie because it's Prince. And they put a block on the entire video because we played that clip. It was like a 90-second thing.
Mhm.
So I have raised
That's
a
all you need.
dispute, and it should go back online in 24 hours. So it's 48 hours after they make the claim. It should go back online, but we won't be able to earn anything.
And lost the chat as well, isn't it?
Well,
When you
we'll
do
lose
that,
the
yeah.
chat.
If you edit it,
you
I
lose
have
the
to-
chat.
If
If
I
you
have to
edit it will.
Yeah.
So, I did
Shame.
think initially, do you know what? Fuck 'em, it's Warner's. I'll just chop it out. But no, I raised a dispute, and if they dispute the dispute, then I will just chop it out and chalk it up.
Yeah.
There you go. Nobody died.
Well, good on you.
bar stewards.
Hi, Robbie.
Lucky
Pleased to
couple.
see you again. I'm
Yeah.
very happy to see you again.
Your voice is different.
It's
My
his
voice.
thing. His driver is messed up. Before I was talking to him, it was high pitched, and now it's lower. So he's like,
Okay.
right.
Sample rate. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's working at 47.215.
Teenage engineering 46.
Before he was talking like this, it was very funny.
That would have been.
Yeah. Computers, huh?
It was 8-bit before, now he's 12-bit.
Yeah.
I wish 12.
He
I
went
would
from
take
Hebrew
that.
Elf to Barry White. So
Baby.
Well, nobody has complained too much, so I'm getting away with it.
you're very sexy with your lower voice now. So
Oh, thank you. I have a deep voice. I just don't use it. I
Damn
save
it.
it for the good moments. With the
it sounds like you have a cold. It's that kind of deep.
Yeah.
I wouldn't discard it. I posted that thing on Facebook. I thought it was COVID. I was totally wrong. Thank God. It felt like coffee, but it went away in 4 days. It still ruined my Christmas holidays, and I'm not sure I haven't got rid totally of it because I think it's like lingering in the lungs.
Mm-hmm.
Something is still there. Or I'm just too old for this shit.
Well, you could have, if it lingers long, if you could have walking pneumonia. So you got to check it out, or bronchitis or something.
Okay. It doesn't make me
I hate it when
cough. I
cunnilingus-
just wrong show.
This is not the OnlyFans page.
It's a medical term. It's okay.
It's okay. It just lingers.
Look up that clip from Not the 9 O'Clock News. It's a song by Pamela Stevenson.
Stevenson. Yeah.
Yeah, I get
Called
too
Kinda
confused.
Lingers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm,
It does.
all right.
No, it's
So,
good luck.
what do we want to see come out in 2024?
Oh no.
Ian wants
I'd
more.
like-
corpse.
Ian,
I want
Ian,
to see-
Ian
I'm
first,
back.
Come on, Ian.
I
What,
want
what
more
do you want to see in
I want more of
2024?
the same crap.
Nothing.
I want more of the same crap
Nothing.
and nothing new at all.
How's
There
your
you go.
floor doing, by the way?
I'm worried.
Define new.
I'm really worried about Kent's auction tonight because I've just made the decision not to buy anything till I get a terror. But
What? What's that?
yeah,
What did I miss?
Kent's auctioning some stuff off tonight in his pub.
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
So there's,
You
so there's
will.
a pub tonight. I didn't know that. Okay.
Mm.
Crap, I'm gonna have to
I
go
would
in.
partake, but I need damn money, so I can't.
Are you going to auction off the Korg drum machine?
No, do you know what? I like that.
Oh, okay.
I actually like. I like that thing. Yeah. No, I have some surplus to requirements as they say.
Oh right. Oh right. It's all the leads, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have any cable as long as it's grey and precisely 30 centimetres long.
I'll take it.
Yeah. 30 quid a dustbin bag.
Andy, by the way, what is this money thing you're talking about? You said you would take part, but you don't.
Needs money for NAM.
What
I need
is
money
this
for
money?
NAM. I'm going to NAM in
What
2
is-
weeks. So
Yeah, but what is this money thing you mentioned? And I've never heard of that.
it's scarce. I don't know. I don't have much of it these days, so that's the way it goes.
Talking about now.
No, it's all right, man. You won't need a fat wallet. It's. I'm not looking for top dollar or anything here.
Tree fitty.
Cool. When is it happen?
Well, tonight, I think. Depending.
Tonight. Okay.
Depending on Fiona again.
All right.
Oh, yeah,
So we all
Quiz
know
and an
she
auction?
ruled.
So we're not doing a quiz. We're not doing a quiz as well, are we?
I tell you
the
what,
thing
if
is
we had an
so-
auction for her shoe collection, we'd be here all bleeding day.
Oh wow.
Does that woman have a lot of shoes? My God.
They all do.
You call her Imelda.
Oh, not
I
this
haven't
minute.
met one that doesn't have a lot of shoes. So.
Oh, she's got more than a lot. It's sort of like the equivalent of Eurorack in shoes.
Yeah, starts younger though.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. She never gets rid of any of her shoes, so I wouldn't be surprised if she had the sandals that she had when she was 4 still in the cupboard in there.
But okay, I'm just joking. But do you want to know why women don't get rid of the shoes?
No, I don't care. I'm beyond it. I don't care any. It's
He's old.
Fair
so,
enough.
yeah.
yeah. I might
Fair enough.
basically.
Everyone has their collections. I mean, some guys collect tennis shoes, right? There's really fancy tennis shoes out
Some
there.
guys collect synthesizers, don't they, Andy?
Some idiots, yeah. Yes.
Kent,
Talking about that,
Yeah.
I'm
Look at
one
Wags'
item to
comment.
go.
look at Wag's comment.
Bro,
Which one of them?
Hammock.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Oh dear.
No.
He wants to put it on his head like Weird Science. So
Ooh, I don't
No.
know if we can get over that.
But they're quite
was
expensive.
a very fun picture. I miss pictures like that.
No, they
I don't
use her bras to launch oil tankers
And to slow them down.
and also to slow them down as well.
it'd be a hell of a sling against,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the
Her
aircraft
middle name
carriers,
is
spinning.
Spinner,
Science.
isn't it?
Deep sea
the aeroplanes
fishing,
landing on aircraft
The one that
carriers,
she
yeah.
currently wears is actually a very famous bra. Actually, it was actually used to actually get the solar system started.
No.
Yeah,
That's where the term slingshot came from.
exactly.
Exactly.
That's it.
Or was it the galaxy itself? I can't remember.
The spiral one.
Which galaxy? Which
Oh,
galaxy?
all of them. Yeah,
Oh, the parallel ones as well?
yeah. She had a franchise. Bless her cottons.
So yeah, one to go, and I'm not getting it just because I need to wait 2 or 3 more pay slips, and then hopefully I'll be fucking finished. Do any of you remember this film, Brewster's Millions?
Yep.
Yeah,
Richard Pryor.
Vaguely.
yeah.
Basically, that's what I'm trying to do to myself with this freaking collection. I want to get off of wanting to buy any synthesizer ever again. And it's managing. Trust me, it's managing.
I think it's called death. That's the best.
When you actually
way.
stop,
Yeah, you actually
yes,
stop
that's one way.
that way.
You
Yeah,
still
I
let
think
that's
synthesizers
one
keep
way.
on going.
Yeah.
Can we not
Bloody
do it
things.
as bloody or painful, please?
Oh, it doesn't have to be
I
bloody or
would settle
painful.
for some.
That could be very peaceful if you
Death.
want it to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make
How?
it happen.
How? How do you want it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I don't buy people who shoot themselves don't feel pain for at least 3 milliseconds.
Yeah, by the time you thought
Tangent
about it,
time.
I've
Ian.
done with
Yeah.
it.
No,
It's-
Ian,
Yeah.
give me an update on your house. I need to know.
Update on,
Okay.
update on my house. Builder comes in on Tuesday
Yeah, man.
to rip this apart, put in new doors and new floor. And then
The floors a go, yeah. It's all cool.
yeah, well, the floor, there's got to be an insulated floor, which has been put in. So I'm clearing this out tomorrow. I've done most of it. Then the Wednesday, the electrician turns up to check the whole house, because we can't just have the electrician here checked. We have to have the whole house checked.
Yeah.
Once that's done, in theory, we should be ready to move out.
Right.
But as with any house move, it could all fall apart at the last minute.
Please don't mention the curse word. Don't
the house
mention
in
the M
Fulham,
word.
There are still issues with. We've had answers to most of our questions, but there are issues about a management fee, which apparently there are management fees, but the woman that owns the house has never paid any in 20 years. So.
Oh crap.
We want an indemnity insurance policy that says if they come after the money, then There's also a slight problem about the fact that the garage door doesn't open or lock, and we would want it replacing or the money dropped to to replace it. As I was saying to Ken the other night, £2,000 for a garage door was the average. Which
for the door.
For the door.
Not for the garage.
No,
for the door.
For the door.
The door.
Yeah. And that's not an expensive
not
door.
cheap.
That's just a sort of basic wooden. I don't want an up and over door. They're
How about a bed sheet and a couple of pegs?
Yeah.
Just getting the damn opener fixed. The special garage door opener is expensive.
Just put up curtains and have an honor system.
So that's the average. So we're looking at
So what is it stoved in from the outside?
Sorry.
Is it stoved in from the outside?
Yeah, it looks slightly bent, but actually, because when we had our survey done, the surveyor actually took photographs, and there's a photograph of the door, not 2/3 of the way up, because he can't get it any higher.
Because he can't get it open, yeah.
Well, what you want to do is put the car in the garage, close the door, and then drive into the garage door again.
Yeah.
Sorted.
That's how you unbend it.
Straight as a
Come
die.
from the other side.
Yeah.
The only other question we really have is whether who owns the property outside of the garage. In theory, it should be part of our property, but it's in sort of a...
Yeah, you might end up with someone parking in front of your garage.
Yeah, so I need to know for sure that
property lines
that we have got. It's not on the plans, so that's outstanding.
Sort that out. Sort that out for sure.
So, but we're getting there. I mean, again, if we don't get answers to everything, we're happy to walk away and go into rented and find somewhere else.
Yeah.
Interestingly, Jane's favourite house, which is another part of Frome, was too expensive for us, and they've just dropped it £20,000.
Oh,
hang
But
on.
it's a bit smaller, no garage. It's a very, very well.
It's a trade-off.
Well converted Victorian terraced house.
Nice house, though. Yeah.
It's lovely. It's absolutely. It's smaller.
Yeah.
The question
Do you need a lot of room?
Could
you work round it?
I mean, we could work around it. Yeah. I mean, there's no garage, so I can't. No, to put my motorbike. That's all I'm bothered about.
Yeah.
Honest question.
You could work around it if it really came to it.
Shed up.
I mean, if we walk away, I think we would probably put an offer in, but it is still above our budget, so we have to.
Could you put a shed in the back garden for your motorbike?
Sorry.
Could you put a shed in the back garden for your motorbike?
There's a shed already there, but it's what I need to know is because I need to know if I can get access to. There is a back gate, but I don't know where that leads to. When we first looked round, it was back in summer.
Google Maps, have a look.
I did. You can't tell. You can't tell.
Yeah.
And there is some building work going on the back as well, which would be fine, but I need to look into that really. We'd need to go around it again, I think. If we're going to put an offer.
Let's see these people mucking you about a bit. Have a day out.
Oh God, some.
You might fall in love with it even more.
Yeah.
Or the solicitor, because we've had different opinions about where the problem has been. Like, the solicitor was on holiday, but he wasn't, and then another solicitor going, "Well, it's sold." Just we have been messed around certainly on that. But,
there'll be a tipping point, won't there? Like, you'll either get it solved or you go, you know what, get stuff one at a time.
I'd rather. I mean, our priority is to get this sold and get the money in the bank, and then, you know, if we have to go into rented for 6 months, we'll do that.
Yeah.
You know.
Even if the other one turns out to be a fallback on if the other one drops out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You know.
That too.
Yeah.
Interestingly, they've had a lot of flooding in Frome, and at the end of the road where we're buying, it's been completely flooded. And apparently, when the estate agent took us round, they said, "Oh, it used to flood here 20 years ago. It hasn't flooded here for that amount of time." But it never got anywhere near the house. But you know,
welcome to climate change.
Well, at least it isn't Thames water area.
Exactly. Yeah. It's near River Frome, though. You know.
Yeah.
But the good thing for us is the house is slightly higher, so most of the houses on there are on, you know, the street.
I bought a house on a hill. That was my number one.
Was it below sea level there or something, or what? What's the flooding from?
It's near a river. It's near River.
Rivers, right?
That's literally just behind.
Avon's not
Some
exactly
rivers,
a small river.
Some rivers at times for their floods through the year. Goes from almost a stream to going almost overflown. Is very common. It's only one thing I've been wondering since you've been sharing your experience. I assume Frome is because it's totally ideal, but are you discarding going any south there? I don't know. Yeovil, Somerset?
We've looked over this year, because let's face it, we started this last year, really. Beginning of last year, when we first decided. So it's taken us all year so far. Mm-hmm. Although I don't suppose that's not necessarily that out of the, you know.
Sounds fast to me. A little too fast.
Tell me about it. No, I don't think it's very fast. I think it's really slow.
Obviously, because
the reason for Frome is it's very arty. There's a good sort of music community there, or not only there, but in Bath and Bristol.
Yeah.
And where you are, to be fair.
Hell yeah.
You know. So the whole area. We want to be closer to family mainly because the only person left up here was going to be my mum, who, bless her, passed away on New Year's Eve. So
I'm sorry about that.
That's out. No, thank you. But that's out of the equation now because I was going to have to keep coming back up and forward, which was fine, you know. And we factored all that sort of stuff in. Boys live in London. Jay's parents are in Exeter. They're both 90. Well, my mum's 90 in February, so we want to be closer to them as well. You know, her sister and that live in Southampton, so it's all central to that sort of area. We did look at Chippenham. It was the town was okay, but it didn't really, float my boat, to be honest. Look at the houses, you know. We looked at Westbury first, and we found a fantastic house in Westbury, but Westbury as a town. Sorry, anybody who lives in Westbury, it's a shithole. You know, there's a major road running right through the middle of the town, so you can't go for a cup of coffee in Westbury in the central town because it's a 1960s shopping centre. It's awful. You know.
Even Yeovil is basically slowly disappearing. The few street life they had when I came in around 2016. Not that I'm a user of the street life. Sadly, I'm one of those people who live in a cave for the whole year long. It's work, home, work. Yeah. But the few times I go through town, more and more shops are closed, more and more businesses are gone. You see less of the good people. The problem with Yeovil is there's a big gap, a very huge social gap. There's only, even working class, very nice people, but there's nothing until you get almost to the homeless level.
Right.
There's not a low working class because the factories in the town and the factories around are kind of high paying ones. I mean, it still shocks me because I come from an underdeveloped country, the fact that Yeovil has a helicopter factory.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
but nowhere to land.
It's like,
I mean, I've never been to Yeovil, so when I'm down,
they have plenty of ways to land them, and they keep testing them. You keep hearing helicopters of any sort of prototypes. I've never even seen anything similar on the air all the time. It's called Leonardo.
So what's that? Westlands? Is that Westlands?
Sorry, I don't know what you mean.
Well,
the helicopter factory.
Yeah.
No, the name of the factory is Leonardo. That's the brand.
It probably
Oh, okay.
is it a rebranding of Westland then? Because that was sort of
I don't know,
90s,
but I know
wasn't it?
that they do
And maybe they
they
do
do
them
units
somewhere
for
else.
the army.
But we looked,
Sounds
we,
like
we looked
Westland.
I know
all around the area. We looked at lots of sort of towns and villages, and as far as Pewsey, we went to we did look right round. And in fact, our eldest son had been to Frew, and he said, "Oh, you love it here." And actually, when we did get there, I mean, we've only our experience of Frew at the moment is we've had 6 visits, and all we've done is gone and looked at houses. Stayed over a couple of nights and come back. So we don't really know the town or the people. But,
Well, I think that's it's still significant. 6 visits in
there's
different
a good
points of
music
the year.
venue. There's I mean, I've taken an office there already, which from the 1st of February. So
Okay, sorry about that.
So I mean, I may be renegotiating that deal, but it's not the end of the world. Just so the business will be relocating to Broome, and so will we at some point.
Okay. No. I was just being curious because I like the area very much, mostly because I'm totally off cities. I've lived off of my life in medium cities. I landed in UK in Bristol. I lived in Bristol for almost a year, and although it was a breath of fresh air compared to the cities I'm used to in Spain, I could not fathom the huge music scene, art scene, paint scene, artistics of any level. I've never seen anything like that before in my life, and I was utterly impressed. I was not impressed about the parking situation, the traffic situation, the fact that the only thing you could not afford is not the price of it, is the bus system. The public transport in Bristol is the worst I've ever seen in my life. I mean, they're totally unreliable. Not only they don't come on time, sometimes they don't even come. And if you're depending on public transport to work on a weekly paid minimum wage factory, that's not where you want to be. So I ended up moving through Bristol. I don't know if you've been there.
I've been to Bristol,
on a bicycle.
My boys went to university in Bristol. So
have you ever tried to bike on Bristol?
Oh, no.
It's almost worse than San Francisco.
Well,
the hills are almost vertical.
I did say to Jane that I didn't want to live anywhere where it was hilly, and Froome's pretty hilly. So luckily, I have a motorbike as well as a pedal cycle. So I will be on my motorbike rather than the push bike.
It's
I
all
told you you
flat.
shouldn't come to East Anglia, mate.
I get your point about
Not
it
a
being
fucking
about
hill.
living-
Actually, no, I live at the top of one.
I get your point about not wanting to live in the city because I'm York born and bred, which is not a big city, but just on a weekend it's the Wild West in York, because you have all these hen parties, and it seems to be one of those cities that everybody comes to from the north, to get trolleyed on a weekend, which is.
I didn't know chickens were so sociable.
Yeah. But
yeah,
I
you want to come to Epsom, mate? I think it's May in the shitholes of the UK calendar this year.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Well, I won't be coming. I'm coming to visit you. So, that's for definite.
Yeah. Epsom now is sort of like bit of grass, build a housing estate on it.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't want to live in it. Neither Jane or I want to live in the city. We've got used to living in a fairly small market town. I mean, and although Frome is significantly bigger, it's at least double, if not 3 times, the size of Pocklington. I think we'll be fine now, really, once we get in. And we want to get into the community to some extent and start. We got friends and all that sort of thing here. We have to start again. We're well aware of that.
So Kent, you have some quality Epsom salts there?
People who want to come and stay with us in Frome.
What, the Epsom salts? Yeah. Yeah. There's salt mines. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Did you have salt mines back in the day?
No. It's not really like that at all. Okay. No, we're more famous for chalk. We're more famous for chalk. Okay. We're known throughout the schools of the world.
Oh, okay.
Epsom
And
And
chocolate.
horse
I've heard of-
racing, obviously horse racing as well.
Well,
Why,
yeah,
obviously.
I mean, York's known for chocolate, but there's no chocolate factory anymore, really.
Yeah. Mind you, it's all changed now. I can remember going out into the school field out the back here, and there was a horse come over. So, oh, hello, horse.
Speaking of chalk, how far are you from the White Cliffs of Dover?
An hour?
About 45 minutes.
Oh, right, there you go. So lots of chalk there.
Well,
Is-
maybe a bit
Yeah.
longer actually. No, you can hit
Yeah.
you can hit
45
coast
minutes from
in.
yours to Dover.
No, I'm thinking to the coast, aren't I? In a
Into-
straight
yeah.
line. No, Dover would be a bit longer, but more like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's in the other side.
But
of
now we've got
that's
20
the
mile an
traffic
hour
on the
limits
M25, the M20
just
is a-
everywhere. We're looking at what, a week. Something like
it. To go. Well, it took me an hour to cross London when I went there last time.
Would you go on a
Well,
helicopter?
that-
It takes longer than an
No.
hour to get across London. mate.
North
Takes longer
North
than
to
hours,
your
yeah.
house, North London to your house, an hour.
You went
Clocked.
through London.
Through London, all the way to the middle, through the middle. Yeah.
And they
Because
went
my
all that
car
trouble
is
of building that
Ulysses
road around the
expensive.
outside. I don't know.
It would have taken me twice as long.
Well, it's like the grid of
I
Los
would've done
Angeles area.
faster.
You
Yeah, it's
cannot
true,
go
that
far
would.
to down there. You have to do short trips every day. 'Cause It takes forever to get around down there.
So, sorry, going back to the York, fun fact: everybody in Spain knows York for a very stupid reason. You know, cook ham, the product, the pinky, watery one. In Spain, we call it York ham. All of them. Doesn't matter the make, the flavor, the taste. It's all York's ham. It's kind of the Hoover. So if it's that cooked pork, usually in a tin and covered in gelatin, right?
Yeah, I know. that
That's
stuff,
York's ham everywhere in Spain. That's how you call that cooked meat. And I got another question for you, Ian.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Strap in.
Careful. Somebody said they missed my questions. I heard it. So now I have proof.
No one.
Was that deliberately?
I mean, there was some sarcasm,
Yes,
maybe,
they did.
but
Yes, they did. I have it on record.
Ah.
Yeah, I even wrote down the name of the pub episode. So, would you consider yourself one of those people who would never mix guitar and synthesizers, or not?
I mix
Make a nice
guitars and synthesizers all the time.
As
We-
in
we talking
playing
about-
synth from a guitar, or expressing a synth from a guitar?
I'm not the world's best guitarist, but if I want
That doesn't matter.
if I want guitar,
That's
if I
irrelevant.
want guitar on track, rather than years ago, I messed around with some of those software packages where, synths are meant to sound like guitars. But they were never that great. I always thought he's probably got better now, but I ignore all that sort of stuff. I will use a
But
guitar.
no, I mean,
I'll use a
what I
guitar.
mean is, would you use, if available, I don't mean buy it because money, one of the, for instance, Roland GR units, as in plug the pickup to, exactly, that's what I mean. So you keep
Oh, no.
guitar,
Guitars,
and synth,
I mean,
synth.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Just
if I was playing
just
in a band,
knowing.
if I was playing in a band and the band needed that sort of to be able to use one of those sort
No.
of,
No,
then
no,
that's
I'm
a
not
different
talking about
thing,
need.
but-
I'm talking about
I'm talking
about enjoyment,
for enjoyment.
for joy.
For enjoyment, I
Okay,
play a
good.
classical guitar, and I'm not the world's best classical guitar player. But
No, but as I said,
I have
you
both
keep
for now,
guitar,
classical
and
guitar
synth.
and-
You don't mix them both.
no, if I'm wanting to
Good.
bash
Good.
out a few songs and sing, then to myself, I'll use a 6-string acoustic, seal strum.
Oh,
well, I heard you play a mean kazoo as well.
I'm very good at kazoo. Yeah. And I've got,
it's an art.
Got a lot of
Don't dismiss
practicing, didn't you?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've even got an ocarina.
Ouch.
I've got a whole set of ocarinas somewhere.
How about
Oh,
nose flute? You ever
okay.
play nose flute? Those are kind of
No, I
fun.
never played nose flute. I've got the nose hair for it.
Oh, who-
I bought one a couple years ago. It was pretty funny.
I recently saw a guy because he was playing 2 recorders with the nose holes,
Yeah.
so he could play 2 melodies at the same time.
I saw that, yeah.
Duophonic.
Jew's harp.
Euphonic, yeah.
I've got a Jew's harp
Euphonic.
somewhere, but
Yeah.
through a full Marshall stack, I don't think so.
Toing. Got a synthesizer for that.
Yeah.
Well, those jaw harps are great though because you can talk through them like a vocoder almost.
Or a talk box.
You mean that thing that?
Yeah, it
goes
almost
on
sounds like a
the mouth?
didgeridoo or
More
a vocoder
like a
at some
talk.
point.
Yeah, it's more
Got
like
a didgeridoo,
talk box,
but it's
yeah.
not got the wax on the top, so it's just an ornament.
Didgeridoo.
Starting the hole.
Didgeridoo.
Well, you can make them out of PVC. I mean, you guys make all kinds of
but
stuff. So.
I did try playing it once, and it was impossible to play. So the only thing I ever did with the didgeridoo was I rolled marbles down it and recorded it.
Oh,
Put it on
sure.
Track. It was great.
A rain
Sounded
stick.
brilliant.
Yeah, it's a
Loads of
homemade
reverb,
rain
stuff
stick
down
with
there.
Beautiful.
stuff in there.
Yeah.
The trick with the didgeridoo is the circular breathing. Most people can't do that. So.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. I was having trouble breathing normally, no mind anything else.
Talk to me, sister. Yeah, because you're meant to what? Exhale out at the same you're breathing in.
You're basically using like a pouch of air in your mouth, blowing while you're inhaling. It's really weird.
It's really weird.
Yes.
You have
But
to
it
you have
sounds
to practice.
Suck little boys off.
Come again?
I mean,
Yeah,
some
they
people
often
might.
did.
Sorry, what?
Maybe Jimmy Savile was good at didgeridoo.
Jimmy Savile played the
Oh, yeah,
didgeridoo,
it's
didn't
not
he?
bad.
Yeah. Great minds there, mate.
Oh,
Good man.
yeah.
Yeah, I read. Well, I don't read. Sorry, I don't read. That was blasphemy. I watch
You
a
should read.
video saying.
Oh, you
I
read the
know
chat?
it's good. No, I don't.
Oh.
Trust me, I don't. That's why I apologize every time. I can't keep up. It moves too fast for me. Once again, remember that I'm reading English and I need to translate.
Oh, right, okay.
So the latency is too big. So no, Robbie, I watched a video saying, or I probably even read it, one of the short things. Prince got hired to open for a very big band 1 year before Purple Rain in '81.
Prince opened for the Stones.
You know, I think that's the one. Yeah.
He got
think that's
booed
the
off
one.
the stage pretty every
Really?
gig. Yeah. Well, you imagine Stones
Really?
fans.
Sure,
Bloke
sure.
turns
Yeah.
up wearing a
They
raincoat,
can't appreciate his talent.
Yeah.
a jock strap, and a Telecaster,
Yeah.
and boots. Not-
Everybody pulls out their ticket
that
and have
wouldn't
another
gone
look.
down well, would
Yeah.
it?
It's funny when I went to see Prince at the O2, and the concert was absolutely brilliant. It was really amazing, but they were really strict on people taking photographs.
Oh God, yeah.
Not just taking the camera off the person, because 2 rows in front of us, they took the guy out and he was out of the concert.
Yeah, they
I
did
went
it here as
to-
well.
I
There
went
were-
to a Prince after show, and he was all set to come on, and the message had already gone round. There were posters around the venue saying, "No phones, no cameras, no
Yeah.
photos, no cameras," and people were just ignoring it. And apparently Prince saw this and said, "I'm not going that." The rest of the band can go, "I'm not going that." So the rest.
Well, I
of the
saw
band played
Prince
the
when he
whole
was the
thing.
artist, and he was playing with his back to the to the crowd mostly, and in the dark parts of the stage where you can't see him. He's always hiding. You know.
So, Robbie, you knew this and you still played the clip last night?
It was on Yamaha's channel.
I know.
Oh, you forget.
I
And it
know.
wasn't Prince's
Doesn't
music.
matter how
There
many
was no-
hands
there
it's
was
been
no-
through.
The,
Copyright keeps on going wherever it gets.
You are
found.
becoming quite the copyright strike king, though.
Well, Rance is giving
Just a
him
claim, not a
run
strike.
for his money.
Yeah, I got a copyright claim,
That should be-
didn't I,
that should
on
be
the
fixed
on the
up.
pub
Oh, yeah, 'cause
because
I-
of that little
little
clip
bit of Simple
from
Minds.
Did you?
PSN. From PSN.
Oh, that from PSN. Yeah.
Yeah.
When did that
Oh, and
happen?
you replayed the PSN one. You got nailed. Oh no.
Yeah, what was it? It was old
Mick.
Mick McNeil.
Oh man, that's crazy.
I mean,
It was
actually,
just a little
I've had-
section.
I've had
Yeah.
2 claims in the last week, both on my own music. Not through Sinner's music. It's just that, somebody tried to claim
Yeah, so
one from.
you look and you got a copyright strike from
Got-
Sinner's music.
got-
Go, hang on a minute, I've just cancelled
Well,
myself.
I wrote that.
I've had them before as well. It isn't from Sinner's music. It comes from the auction. If it's for us.
Yeah.
Well, that's how much
Uh,
worse
but-
it's getting. You guys played a clip before in PSN, then you couldn't play it a second time. It's just the algorithm's getting stupid.
Yeah.
It is. It's. I mean, they've both been released because I had to. But you have to faff around writing and saying, I wrote this piece, and
It's
put
me.
it out there.
It's
Here is
my
how it was
album.
done. You know,
Yeah.
if you watch the video, you can tell how I did it because I bloody, you know, it's a live.
I was
cam.
there. I was recording this bloody shit that you're trying to charge me for. But
By the way, Robbie, I've got a name for you.
What, dickhead?
Sorry,
Rob.
Only behind
Where
his
is it?
back, Ian. For God's sake, mate.
sorry,
Remember
sorry.
what we said. You
Filter,
signed the
filter.
contract
Sorry,
and
mate.
everything.
Sorry, kid. I forgot about that bit.
Somebody's going to.
Philip Nicholas.
Oh, yeah. I know Philip. He's been over at Rogers just lately.
Well, that was to answer your question. That was Tiny's Fairlight programmer.
Yeah, he was. He's friends with Roger Bolton. He's actually been staying with Roger the last few days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
He knows.
so, in fairness, sorry, just for a brief second, I would like to make a point about the copyright strikes. I kind of feel, not really, I'm just being hypocritical. Feel sorry about YouTube because all this money grab they pulling out with the revenues and the strikes and stuff. I understand it's because I think the books are starting not to square out of all the money they need to pay to all these bands hosting their music in YouTube, and because they're not infringing any copyrights, it's their own music licensed by themselves, but it's the bands getting a revenue, a constant. Sometimes we're talking tens of millions of streams, sometimes a week, and all that money he needs to come from somewhere. And I'm not sure what's the percentage of people, but of people who are paying for Prime, because I am not, for instance.
What's Prime?
Who is here for YouTube Prime? Basically, the subscription.
They have
You're not paying
advertisers and
quotas
stuff.
to YouTube.
I think YouTube have got.
But still, I don't think that's enough. They're bleeding money on real artists, as in self-promoting artists having the page of, for instance, Disturbed, the Rolling Stones, you name it. They have their own pages, and they have to pay for each of those streams, same as Spotify does.
I think there's a YouTube policy that actually they want people to take Prime because there are so many. I mean, I watched a video today before you guys all came on. I've been sorting this room out, and I had a video on, and literally it was a 30-minute video, and I was sort of watching it, and but the amount of adverts that came into that 30-minute video in that half hour was ridiculous. It was literally you weren't getting like 10 minutes. It wasn't like every 10 minutes. It seemed like it was every 5 minutes.
Yep.
And
it's probably
more and
every
more
5.
of this.
You get
And
30
it's going to get
seconds every
worse.
5. Yeah.
It's going to get
getting
worse.
worse.
It's pushing people towards that
If
subscription.
you're a regular
This is
consumer
why
YouTube,
YouTube-
it pays to do Prime.
This is why YouTube isn't going to go down the shithole because
No.
they put all of these adverts in and they've taken away all the controls for content publishers to specify where they want ads. We don't get a choice anymore.
Yep,
They will
exactly.
put adverts wherever they bloody like because that's what makes the money and that's
They
what
made that announcement a couple years ago.
I always used to choose the mid-roll. I would always take that out and I would put it at the
Exactly,
beginning.
same
I'm
here.
happy to put it at the beginning, put it at the
Yeah.
end, and then leave the mid-roll.
banner
so that
ad.
people
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't do that now.
Happy to do that, but you interrupt my stream with an advert, you can fuck off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But if you're a mobile user of YouTube, to be able to turn your phone off to save power and still have it stream is one of the great things about Prime. You can't do that till you pay them.
Yep.
So it's kind of bullshit, but at the same time, it's very useful. So I love that feature.
Counter argument, I do, in my particular very nobody else in the world niche case, I do appreciate the adverts at the end. Because I don't watch the videos, I just listen on my headphones. And the adverts at the end, many times, is the only way I know that the video's finished. Otherwise, I'm just saying, okay, it's buffering, or what the hell is... I need to stop whatever I'm doing and open to what's going on.
Or worse, when it
Music
goes onto
and
another video
YouTube.
automatically.
Sorry, one at a time. Say what?
Back to music and YouTube. If I looked at a stat the other day, the lowest percentage payout is for YouTube Music. They give the artist the lowest percentage by a massive
Spotify
margin.
does, right?
I thought it was the Spotify.
No, wrong.
It's Spotify.
Spotify's about 10 times as much as YouTube Music.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, YouTube Music is the worst for giving you any money if you're an artist.
I'd have to go in and have a look.
Okay, because
Maybe
that's
that
not what I
changed.
heard.
I always heard it was Spotify, but
Yeah, spot
No, no.
that's why a lot of
Used
people
to
are
be.
boycotting Spotify because they're
Maybe
screwing
different
artists.
regions. Yeah.
Okay, talking
region
about what I've heard, who of you feel like who of you who uses social media and or streaming services, which all these targeted adverts and feeds that is basically force feeding you what they think you tell them you want to watch, who feel that the news or the information related vaguely to real world news, who feels like they are not falsified, but you getting propaganded, as it you're victim of people moving through the systems of the algorithms for push notoriety of a specific video or a short or a video or a reels or a YouTube video or anything, like the truth is getting diluted through the system. Like,
Well,
and
that's how
we're
they
not
work.
getting
They're
the
tailored
whole
to
picture
your
anymore.
behavior.
But they
Yeah.
yes, that theoretically is a good part. But what I'm getting at is I'm starting to feel that is agendas being pushed to a specific demographics to convince them that to fight or to be against all the parties that, and none of them have the truth. They're both lying basically, but you only get fed half of the truth, and the half that a particular segment of abusers of the system wants you to watch. Who does?
Well,
Am I
well,
the
for
only one
example, all
feeling
the
like
weird
this?
Trumpy stuff I only get when my wacky friends who are into him post stuff.
Mm.
I don't see that
Mhm.
shit. It gets all filtered out because I don't look at that
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
the thing you watch, the thing that reaches you, do you think is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Oh God, no. It's
Everything's a
advertising.
flavor of the truth. It's just, everything's been tweaked and doctored, and so I got to
So I'm not
read
the only
and,
one.
and watch and read everything because
So I'm not
make
the
up
only
your
one.
own
Good.
decision. Don't just go by what some asshole tells you.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's
I
my point. I
only-
think. Yeah, go, Chris.
Sorry, I only have look at one trusted news source here in Australia, and we have a national broadcaster called the ABC, no relation to the American one. And
Hopefully.
I've always trusted them because they're independent of government and they don't have any commercial type.
Are you
like, they don't have
100% sure of that? Can you be totally
it's-
sure of that?
No, and they have
Exactly.
that they are quite often accused of being lefty. So
It's just
there
like the
is that.
BBC over here.
I know exactly. It's very much
Independent
so.
public broadcaster, and people
But-
still think they're under government control.
But hardcore science stuff is often lefty because they're not religious and they're not trying to brainwash you
But-
down some
but the
channel.
BBC
tell
were
me this, tell me
bullied,
this,
weren't
Chris.
they?
Tell me this,
Yeah.
Chris. When you have a left-wing government in power in Australia, do ABC are they often accused of right-wing bias and then the other way round?
Yes, whatever the government is, they get accused of doing the opposite of what the current government is.
Same
It's
as the
basically-
BBC. Yeah,
It's national broadcaster bashing is a national sport, like
Yeah.
here as it probably is with
same
you
here.
guys.
Which just proves to me that they're doing their job right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
that
if
means
you're
they must be
pissing-
in the middle.
Yeah, it's what they say when they're pissing off both sides. You know, you're doing a good job.
Good point. I like it. I
This is
hope
why
more
we
people
need to
do.
carry on
do-
paying. Who pays for ABC in Australia? Is that are you taxed
It
for
is
that?
government. It is government funded, but they also have some.
So everybody.
revenue from. Yeah, so they have some revenue as well from some kind, like sales of
Yeah, again, like
DVDs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
God, people
yeah.
still buy
BBC have
DVDs.
BBC Worldwide, so they sell programs around the world.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's primarily funded by the government.
So,
or
and shall we-
unfunded,
Does that
as
come
the
out of your
case is every
taxes?
year.
Is that out of
Yes.
your taxes? So can
Yeah, well, one way or another.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Comes out
shall
of the
we
tax somewhere,
talk about?
Yeah.
Shall we address the elephant in the UK room about the TV tax, about the TV license?
what's the problem?
Oh, it's not a
famous
problem.
TV
It's just
license.
an extra income for BBC.
That's how the
it should
BBC is
be-
how the
it should be
BBC
fun-
is funded.
That's
It's
that's
funded.
capital.
Yeah, but it
It's a
should
different
it should
corporation.
as a model, it can't survive. It has to go at some point.
We have to pay for a public broadcast service. Otherwise, it's not a public broadcast service. So we
Agreed.
have to pay for it, and therefore, because it's then accountable to us.
Yeah.
The system that we use in the UK, which is
Gives
this
you-
old-fashioned system that says it's a TV license. You have to have. It was a way of saying this isn't a tax. This is you have to have a license to have a television, and the money from the license goes to fund the BBC.
So in the days of Monty Python, you had TV licenses?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how the BBC is funded.
But it gives
I
you
don't
the
care whether
option
they
not
call
to
it
pay.
TV license or whether they call it public broadcasters tax, and they build it into my income tax, or it's whatever. At the moment, I just pay it every month, as I have done always, because I believe in paying for a public broadcast service.
Good.
Do they
Agree.
have pledge
Agree with
drives
that.
too? Do they do
What
the
is the
pledge drive
TV
deal?
license now?
150 quid, is it? Something like that?
Yeah, it's about 150.
Because I can remember when it was 15p.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I say,
But look
we
what
agreed
the BBC
that.
does.
What?
Is our public television is run by
my
pledge drives a
argument
lot?
is that if you don't, because it doesn't just cover the BBC, it's all the terrestrial channels. So Channel 4, ITV.
ITV is
Channel
completely
5.
public, completely commercially funded.
Yeah, I know.
Channel 4 has
you
a
have to
public
have a TV
broadcast
license
charter.
Yeah.
If you want to watch only Channel 4, you still need to have a TV
The law,
license.
and this is where it needs reform.
this is
Because
where
the
the
law
problem
says
is.
if you have a television receiving set,
Yeah.
because the license came in before commercial TV existed.
Yeah.
So the
Always,
law,
that was
which
always
is-
the argument.
Yeah,
It was always
the
the
law
argument.
says if you have equipment that is capable of receiving a live broadcast television signal, whether it's a television or back in the day a VCR or a Skybox or whatever, and if you have something like that, the law says you have to pay a license. So nowadays, that's becoming more and more blurred because we watch a lot of stuff online and iPlayer and all this kind of stuff. So the whole thing needs to be shaken up. But we still need to pay for it.
We do, yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree.
Because if we don't,
I'm not agreeing. I'm agreeing with you. I agree that we need to pay for it, but I think it should be like the model of Netflix, so it's another.
Yeah,
it's just basically back to a subscription model rather than it being a
but
yearly.
I don't think we should be given an option to not pay for it.
Bullshit. Absolute bullshit.
No,
I don't want to watch the fucking BBC.
I'm not sure about that, mate, because
I've done TV
if
for
I
30 years. You're not going to make me pay for it. Get fucked.
If I
No.
don't watch the
Absolutely fucking no.
Steve, calm the fuck down. Seriously.
If I don't pay
Bullshit.
for it, if I don't watch BBC, I only watch Channel 4 or whatever. Then
But if
I
you
would be
don't
quite
have a
happy to
public
pay for
service
Channel 4.
broadcaster, if you don't have a public service broadcaster, you have America. You have the American TV model, where you have news channels that are not
Fox.
news channels; they are opinion channels.
Yeah,
It used to be news.
On
no, they're not
BBC's
anymore.
not an opinion channel. Shut
In the
fuck
80s,
up.
news
What a
was
load of
good.
crap.
Well, I mean,
Absolute bollocks. Total bollocks.
we do get.
The problem we have here with the cable companies is if you hate Fox News and you pay into the cable service, even though Fox News is included, you're paying for them whether you like it or not. It's bundled in, and so you're paying for shit you don't like. So we have problems like that here too.
I don't like the BBC. I'm definitely not going to pay for it. That's shit I don't like.
And I think the
You wanna
BBC,
watch it, pay for
like
it.
the
You don't
Fox
wanna
says,
watch it, don't
you
fucking
do
pay
need
for
to
it.
if you're gonna watch it or listen to it, because what you got to remember is that there's an awful lot of listen to Radio 6 Music or BBC Radio 2. They're all part of the BBC, so we should be paying for that service because it's not.
You should be
just
paying for
BBC.
that service if you need to subscribe to it, correct? If it's fucking.
Yeah. So if I
don't-
never
don't
listen to the
radio.
BBC, then I shouldn't be paying for it. But I do, But my argument was that it being tied into ITV and Channel 4 and Channel 5 is wrong.
Outdated model.
Yeah. Oh, it
There are
is.
thousands of
It needs
channels
to be
these days.
updated.
Don't have 3 of them.
I mean,
It's fucking
if
don't
there was a new model tomorrow, I'd be buying into the BBC. It might be cheaper. It's 159 quid now to buy a TV license. And
Because
obviously,
you guys used to have
technically,
like 4 channels. Now how many do you
I
have?
want to put it to 168.
5. Well, it's not just 5 because you've got there's 4OD, there's Film 4, there's BBC.
Did you guys get rid of the broadcast? Is it only digital TV, or do you still have aerials picking up analog TV?
It's all digital
now, isn't it, I think?
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
Even the
went over
aerials
to
are
digital a few
digital.
years ago.
Okay.
Still need
Right.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, because we canceled that years ago as well, so I just wondered.
The knowledge I have, okay, I got a letter. Apart from the recurrent every year letter, oh, we know you have a TV set. You need to pay TV license. For 4 or 5 years, I just tick the box. No, I'm sorry, I'm not watching live broadcast. Yes, I have a TV because it has a console, a DVD player. I have the item, but I don't use it for live broadcast. I think it was a year and a half, probably by now 2 years, I got the letter saying, oh, we just reformulated, and now we include every digital streaming service that broadcasts live.
That's
Meaning,
Capita, isn't it?
every YouTube channel, like this one we're doing right now, that does a live stream, that accounts as you need to pay TV license.
That's bullshit.
I'm not getting into it's bullshit, it should not happen. Just look at from my point of view. I come from Spain. You can't escape paying for the telly. You don't have the option. They don't even mention it. It's in your income tax, comes out of your taxes, and it goes to feed fat bastards in very high mansions, right? To the point that I'm not sure what's the real estate, as in the real numbers, but there's background noise in Spain that we know that even the private handle, the business broadcast companies in Spain get some national funding from the same taxes.
Is that remnants of Franco?
Okay.
Is that what it is?
Very, very likely. Franco time, you only have 2 channels. In fact, you only had 3/4 of a channel, because the main channel would not broadcast 24 hours. It would do like, I think it's 16 hours a day, with a break in the middle for siesta. The telly would stop, and the second channel would not start until after the siesta, right? So nothing in the morning, just after it, just on the evening, sometimes to midnight, and around 1 o'clock, every channel would shut. That was Franco times, right? So you had no telly overnight, nothing, just that.
We didn't either.
No, we didn't either.
Yeah, we had the Star Spangled Banner, and then go to snow. So at midnight.
I'm just exposing the situation, how it was, and that came out of the taxes. Up to this day, we still don't have a tick box on the tax form to have a rebate from that.
The BBC is a dinosaur. The whole concept of it is out of time. The whole world has moved on. The whole fucking planet has moved on. We have thousands and thousands of channels. Most people watch fucking YouTube these days.
Yes.
BBC is for. Don't get me wrong. The BBC has its place for people who like it, and for the people who like it, awesome. Pay for it, you watch it. I'm not interested in it. I don't see why I should be made to pay money for something I don't want to do. I find it.
Have you ever seen inside a TV detector van?
Yeah.
Do they even exist?
They do. Yes, they do. I've seen many of them.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
No, I've seen them. They look like Google Maps vans.
But as
inside
as a
one.
socialist kind of system,
Yeah, you're right. You might find a van.
It's an empty van. It's just an empty van.
It's a deterrent.
Yeah.
You guys have a socialist system. You can't really refuse a service like that, though, right? It's just, it's.
Yeah, as I said,
even it stems back to a government charter. When the BBC was the only thing,
right?
Yeah, but that moved on in like when did YouTube,
well, it kept moving the goalposts, because what they said was the TV license was to fund the BBC. Okay, right, but that was I don't know how many years ago. Then it was it's a license to use the transceiver, the receiving equipment.
Yeah.
Then they moved that goalpost to it's actually on the residents, right? So if you didn't own a TV, you would get a TV license bill come to the door, and you had to prove that you didn't have a TV, right? And then they moved the goalposts again. Then it was the TV license is per household, regardless.
Do they track you if you go to like an electronics store and buy a TV?
Yeah.
Ah, you have a TV now.
Yes. No, that's what they used as records. So,
Yeah.
so a second-hand TV market was literally out the back of a van, round the back of the pub in
That's
a car
crazy.
park. Yeah. So that's contraband TVs, you know.
Wow.
Now,
No, no.
I got a little pocket TV here. And
this
Jack.
charter is what? This charter is what, 100 years old
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
year or last year, right?
Yeah, maybe.
And
yeah.
things have massively moved on.
Yeah.
Now, they say that the BBC isn't biased, but I think the BBC doesn't want to be biased. But it can be influenced. It can certainly be influenced by whatever government's in place at the time, because the government are the people that release the monies to the BBC, and also are the govern what the license will be as well. So if the BBC wants to get a good funding, toe the line. But there can also be like this thing with the post office scandal that's come up. It's come out that the BBC were being pressured by lawyers with very poignant letters that they could not cover what was going on with this computer glitch, you know?
Yeah, for a long time I have thought the BBC News wasn't as impartial as it should have been.
Yeah.
On a whole load of subjects. But
the
I
thing
can say
was,
that
all
about
the other
every
news
broadcaster out
stations,
there as well.
here's the thing, all the other news stations, although they're being funded a completely different way, can still be forced to not cover things in a certain way by lawyers.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether it's an independent station or not.
Yeah.
The news can be bent in a particular direction.
It's all
Now, if it's
self-serving.
something
They're all doing their
linked
own
to a
interests.
government fuck-up, all the stations can be influenced via the law, and nothing to do with the license. Nothing to do with
It's
the
like
license at all.
most of the stuff that's coming out about the king. And now I'll put my hand up and say I'm an anti-royalist. I am the only one in my family, but for me, the monarchy should go. And I don't put them against the wall. They're probably nice people, but
You're on a list somewhere.
I don't have a king. He's not my king.
Yeah.
Now, the only newspaper in here in the UK who seems to be actually covering any of this sort of the stories about the royal money, we'll say, and how the king, is The Guardian, which is a left-leaning newspaper for those of us not in the UK. But the rest of the media, the BBC included, along with ITV, don't cover those stories. Probably
How about our mate Andy?
Sorry, Steve?
How about Andy? Randy Andy, what about him? How he's been covered?
Well, that's a cover-up, isn't it? That guy should be in prison, allegedly.
Yeah, but that would be from a legal standpoint rather than a licensing standpoint.
What about what about the cover-up of the BBC and all the paedophiles inside that? That was covered up for fucking years.
Well, you want to get down to how
but
about
you
the
know
Catholic
what?
Church and all they're covering up.
But the BBC wasn't the only establishment that had that problem.
Oh no, I'm not saying it is, but you know? It's not the amazing, wonderful thing that some people think it is.
Well, it's like anything, I mean, the
Hollywood
BBC was
system,
held in
I mean,
reverence in the
guys
same way
like
the
Weinstein
church
and
was.
stuff, they got away with stuff forever. So
yeah,
there's power structures everywhere doing horrible things.
Where there's money, legality or justice walks out the door. Sure, but
justice is what you can
That's why
afford.
That's why I think the UK system, although unfair to some people, is still more fair than the Spanish system, because you still have a choice, very slim and getting slimmer and slimmer and moving the goalpost every year. You still have a choice to deny the payment, not to pay. You can or just declare yourself in revelry and don't fucking pay it. You don't have that choice because it's taken from your pay slip every month in Spain.
It's a tax, isn't it? You've got a tax in Spain.
Yeah, they're taxed as
But
well in Australia.
It's not one of those taxes that you can choose, because I think you can choose, for instance, if you want to put extra or a percentage of your tax for the church or for the army. I think it's like the two options. No, it's not even listed. is so
Yeah, but it's exactly
freaking
the same here.
granted.
It's the same here. They call it a license, but it's
Yeah,
a tax.
they make it the same.
It is a tax.
They make
It's
it the
just a
same.
tax.
Yeah.
It's See, when it really started to get sticky is when the invention of the colour TV came around.
Oh yeah,
And then there was a price difference between whether you had a black and white
Still
TV
is.
or whether you had a colour.
Black and white
And there
TV
still is.
is 53 quid.
Yeah.
Oh, the license is different.
But you try and find
Wow,
a
that's
4K black and white TV.
yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. But there again, somebody did go to court with this and said, he says that, you've been paying for a black and white TV, but you have a colour one. He says, oh no, I turned the colour down.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't watch it in colour.
Yeah.
And
But
they
you still have more
couldn't.
pixels.
Yeah,
can't
they said,
prove
oh yes,
that
but
you can do that.
because the TV was manufactured to be colour, they nabbed him.
Exactly.
That's funny.
Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't
What
matter
about blind
what you
people?
do. The law wins.
If you've got a colour TV and you're blind, you get 70 pence off or something stupid.
Well, blind people
Yeah.
go to movies.
Really?
You can listen.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
So,
And they go, well,
because-
so why don't they just get a radio?
That's what I mean. I thought BBC also pays for the radio. So blind people watching telly is like listening to radio. So
technically,
that's
But
why
then
they
again,
get.
I get it that you you can't listen to television programs
I'm just
on the
taking a
radio.
piss.
Yeah, I know. I get that, but it's sort of like they dropped it on the radio. You didn't need to have a license for a
No.
radio,
Yeah.
but that's because they couldn't monitor it.
Yeah.
So they just
Exactly.
went, "Fuck it, we give up."
Yeah.
So, if somebody come up with some way of you couldn't monitor TV.
You didn't used to have to log into the
They give
BBC
up.
iPlayer, but you do now, don't you?
Yeah,
No, that's
but the
a
thing
big
is
deal.
even if they got rid of, you see, the thing is, we shouldn't pay for TV license. We'll be better off. You won't, because if they get rid of the TV license, they'll put that tax onto fucking something else.
Well,
Yeah, I
again,
tried-
You're
I
still
tried
going
to
to
do
pay,
it.
but they'll make it slightly more than what they lost. So
I tried to
every
do the
time-
iPlayer thing once with a
Yeah,
VPN,
it's
and I couldn't do it. It wouldn't let me. They're pretty clever about that. So
Yeah.
Funny because here, when I try to use it, it only gives me, oh, you're not allowed to watch this if you don't have a TV license, if you're not paying.
Yeah,
Means.
exactly.
So, and then it gives you two ticks. Do you have or don't you have? If I go, okay, fuck it, I do have it, it plays.
Yeah.
But
But
it's
I'm
like,
I'm not
it's like the
totally
Mustang.
sure.
My
The
understanding-
Mustang
Totally-
doubled. The Mustang doubled in value because once it became known that it was ULEZ exempt, that was one thing. Then they go, oh no, you don't ever have to get another MOT for it. I mean, so I could be driving this around with the arse hanging out of it. It's okay. It's road legal. Yes. Okay. So do I have to pay road tax? Oh no, you don't pay road tax on it anymore either.
wow.
They go, oh, so even though it's 1.5 tons and it turns up the road just as bad as a Range Rover, I don't have to pay for it. Yeah. So they can get rid of taxes if they want. That's not the problem. But they'll always find something else to put it on.
Yeah, like Windows back in the day. You had a Windows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my nan's house had bricked up windows because she goes, oh no, that was when we had sunshine tax. I used to look
Yeah.
at her like she'd go, fucking hell, she's gone round a bend.
No.
And they go, no, they used to charge for light.
Yeah.
Can't listen.
Wow.
When I learn about that thing about the old cars or vintage cars, not paying road tax, not paying MOTs and stuff, I made up in my head this explanation because it's the only thing that makes sense in my head. So please correct me afterwards. I think that happens for one reason only. All the Tories and their beloved vintage car collections, they don't want to pay for them.
No,
That's
it's not
why
that. It's not
they
that.
made them extend.
No, it's not
No?
that because they're already skimming enough gravy off the fucking boat up there already. They don't have to worry about that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They line their
Small
pockets.
fry.
They're already. That's why you become a politician. Is to make money. You don't do it because you want to
Yep.
help the people. Fuck off. That's not what it's about at all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not
I
in
know.
any country on the planet. And if there
I
is a
know.
country like that, everybody else is looking at them going, well, they're fucking lunatics for a start. Do you know what I mean? So, no, it's not that. The reason for that is you would find that on paper, a lot of Tory-like people have vintage cars, and it's about votes. It's not about they don't want to pay for it. Think about it. The policies that the Tory government put forward suit Tory voters,
Yes.
right? Okay, so when the government that is on the side that you're on, it normally works out for you. I mean, admittedly, this time even Tory voters are going, "Fucking hell, this lot are a bunch of wankers," right? So, so Tory voters tend to be a lot of extra money knocking about. They can afford to have a classic, a second classic car or a third classic
Over
car
60s.
or whatever. Over there, yeah. They're going to be part of the Grey Army and all that.
Yeah.
So, and
What's that?
they play to the numbers.
So
It's
you
not
think
it's not specifically about classic cars.
so
and-
it's like a loyalty reward or loyalty to the party.
Well, yeah, because they want to get in again. Because they want to keep skimming
do.
money off the top.
We
Yeah.
call
Oh.
it pork barreling here. We
Yeah.
call it pork
Sorry,
barreling.
what, sorry?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically,
so-
it's when you spend money on policies that benefit the people who put you in power in the first place, so that they return you to the next term.
Yeah.
And they do
It's
it
like-
usually do it just around election time.
Yeah.
I've got our
That's
biscuit. He
probably
says,
that,
"What is the Grey Army?" Me and Kent are the Grey Army.
Oh, yeah, we're the Grey Army,
I'm a greyish
apparently.
army.
See Exhibit A and B.
Yeah.
Elaborate.
Well,
I think,
like, for
I think
instance, in the
Eddie's
back of
there as well.
magazines,
Just one,
in the
please.
back of magazines, you will find adverts targeted for the old female versions of us, and it will be porcelain figurines of British birds,
Yes.
coins, specially pressed coins of the Queen and King, and blah blah blah.
Hey, I'm
and
trying to sell them
yeah,
others.
whatever. You're on a list, mate. You know that. And and it's sort of like the slipper, the mono slipper, where you put both feet in it and you plug it in the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get to the back of these papers or magazines and you're going, oh, look, that looks, I like that. Yeah, it's that sort of thing. And we are the Grey Army. We're the people
We
who
are,
buy all this
yeah,
tacky
yeah.
shit. Apparently.
Oh, so by grey you mean grey hair.
Grey hair, yeah.
Okay,
Basically, people.
Yeah.
I get it.
Hey guys, I hate to do this. Speaking of votes, I gotta go nap.
There we are.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna do the siesta that
Yeah.
he was talking about. So.
Yeah. Right, Andy.
The back of the Woman's
It's been
Weekly.
3 hours.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
It's,
Wow.
it's commemorating the life of Queen Elizabeth II. And
Well, she's
my mother
dead.
bought
Right?
it.
So,
It was never opened.
yeah.
It probably cost about 20 quid and it's worth about
Okay.
tuppence.
Tuppence.
Go and take it in the back garden and
It's
shoot
going to
it.
charity.
Target practice.
You go, I
Excellent.
shot the
So,
Queen.
anyway, final words, guys. I gotta shut it down.
All right, mate.
All right.
You
All
take
right,
care
mate.
now.
No
Look after
worries.
yourself,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Bye, everybody.
Good
Thanks.
fun.
Good
Good
times.
fun tonight.
Bye.
Bye.